Chapter 1. So happy, your wife gave birth? Early September. The streets of Yangcheng. Sitting in his Ford, Gu Xingchen opened the Didi app and started his new day of part-time work. After all, there was a lot of free time in his senior year, and he could make good use of the subsidies to support himself. Hey, driver, I'll wait for you in front of the Heart Language Cafe on Chenghu Road. Gu Xingchen quickly received an order. The customer sounded very nice on the phone, and should be a young girl. Okay, I'll be right there. Gu Xingchen hung up the phone and turned the car around to drive to the entrance of the coffee shop on Chenghu Road. Beauty, did you order Didi? A sexy and flirtatious girl with big waves stood in front of the Heart Language coffee shop. The girl was about 23 years old, had a great figure, and exuded a charming aura. If such a girl were placed in their school, she would definitely be a flower of the department. The girl nodded and got into the back seat of Gu Xingchen's car. Gu Xingchen followed the navigation and drove towards the destination, Rose Community. Hello, is this Uncle Wang? This is Niu Meng Meng. I'm sorry, I just saw the message you sent me yesterday. I'm sorry I didn't receive any advertising flyers this month. Can I pay the rent for this month together with next month's rent? Yes, thank you, Uncle Wang, I will definitely pay next month. Hearing the content of the call, Gu Xingchen couldn't help but glance at it in the rearview mirror. The other person was clearly carrying a Louis Vuitton bag, but they couldn't even pay the rent. It was really puzzling. It couldn't be a fake bag, could it? Gu Xingchen muttered to herself. In a big city like Yangcheng, it was normal for a vain girl who couldn't afford the real thing to carry a fake bag. Hey, Fong Fong, I bought a house in the Rose Community. Invite your sisters over for a house party this weekend. Hey, it's not much, a small 2-bedroom apartment for less than 2 million, just enough to get by. We'll buy a big villa when we have money. I'm not that capable right now, I worked hard for months to barely afford a flat, you're flattering me. Okay, it's a deal, I'll see you at my place this weekend. Gu Xingchen watched the whole conversation between the two girls on the phone. After she hung up, Gu Xingchen couldn't help but laugh out loud. This sister's vanity is really serious, right? 1 second ago she couldn't pay the rent and was begging the landlord, and the next second she's putting on airs in front of her best friend. What are you laughing at? Just drive properly, or I'll complain about you. Niu Meng Meng glared at Gu Xingchen. Gu Xingchen laughed awkwardly. I'm not laughing at you, I was just thinking of something funny. Niu Meng Meng gave him a blank stare. Did your wife give birth? Gu Xingchen shook his head and laughed. No, I saw a clip before, where the heroine returned from fighting in the war and found her husband living in a dog kennel. Puff. Niu Meng Meng couldn't help but laugh, but quickly regained her expressionless face. She knew exactly what this Didi driver was thinking. He must be trying to attract her attention by making her laugh, and taking the opportunity to add her on WeChat. She had seen this kind of trick many times. Although this man is very handsome, he is only a Didi driver after all, and is completely unworthy of her. Niu Meng Meng's expression turned cold. What's so funny? Suddenly she felt her lower abdomen, and there was an uncontrollable surge of gas inside. Crap, I ate too many baked sweet potatoes last night, and now I can't help but want to fart. Niu Meng Meng regretted her gluttony last night, and then carefully controlled the gas in her body, so that when it leaked out sideways, it was as silent as possible. However, puff. A loud noise made the back seats shake. Shit, I couldn't control it. Gu Xingchen was shocked, and quickly applied the brakes and pulled over to the side of the road. She looked back in horror. Did you bring firecrackers into my car? Don't blow up my car. Niu Meng Meng's face instantly turned red as a pig's liver. God, you brought firecrackers into the car. Gu Xingchen was taken aback, and only reacted when she noticed her sister's unusual behavior and sensed the indescribable smell in the car. Shit, is this pretty girl farting so hard? The gate of the Rose Community. The girl got out of the car and ran away like she was escaping. Gu Xingchen quickly opened the car door to ventilate the air and checked the car seat cushions to see if they had been damaged by the girl. Help, I'm going to give birth soon, can someone help me and take me to the hospital? Oh, it hurts, help me, I'm going to give birth. At the same time, just as Gu Xingchen finished ventilating the air and closed the car door to prepare to leave, a painful cry for help came from afar. Gu Xingchen turned his head and saw a beautiful pregnant woman who was holding her stomach and collapsed on the ground, her face pale and in extreme pain. Ha! Isn't that the school beauty Lin Kuei? She's in labor. Gu Xingchen landed on the pregnant woman's face and instantly recognized her identity. It was Lin Kuei, the school beauty of their university. The other party had disappeared from school for a year, and I didn't expect her to be pregnant. Gu Xingchen looked left and right, but there were no passers-by nearby to help. He quickly put the pained Lin Kuei in the car and drove towards the Capital Health Hospital. On the way, Lin Kuei, who was pale, looked up at him and gave him a deep look. Maternal and Child Health Hospital. Gu Xingchen finally let out a sigh of relief as he watched Lin Kuei being pushed into the delivery room by the nurse. At the same time, he was curious in his heart as to why Lin Kuei, who was about to give birth, did not have any family or friends by her side. He shook his head as if none of this was his business. However, just as he turned to leave, a doctor walked up to him from the delivery room and looked at him. "Are you Gu Xingchen?" "Yes. Your girlfriend is about to give birth right now, and she needs your signature. Hurry, sign it and we can arrange for the delivery." Gu Xingchen? When did Lin Kuei become his girlfriend? It's none of his business that she's giving birth. He just kindly brought her here, so how did he become her boyfriend? And he has to sign? Are you kidding me? Although Lin Kuei is the school beauty queen, she is beautiful beyond compare, but don't even think about him taking over the responsibility for no reason. It is impossible to become a father by chance, not in this lifetime. I don't know Lin Kuei well. I just happened to pass by and brought her to the hospital, so you guys go find her partner to sign the papers. What do you want with me? I really don't know her well. Upon hearing this, the entire maternity ward hall fell silent. The people around looked at Gu Xingchen with a different gaze. It was the look of a scumbag. At this time, a nurse in a white coat ran out of the delivery room again. "Miss Lin said, you really are the child's father. She told me to tell you that 10 months ago at the Natural Hotel." Hearing Natural Hotel, a memory came flooding back to Gu Xingchen's mind. At that time, he had just bought a car and went out to celebrate with his roommate in the evening, but he accidentally got drunk. As a result, when he went back that night, he met a beautiful girl who was also drunk. The other person fell to the ground, and Gu Xingchen subconsciously feared that she would be picked up by someone else, so he went up to help her up. As a result, when he woke up the next day, he appeared at the Natural Hotel. Could it be that the girl at the time was Lin Kuei? At this moment, a mechanical voice rang in Gu Xingchen's mind. "Ding, blood relationship test matched. Congratulations to the host for binding the daddy system." Chapter 2, Get the twins and get your reward. The baby is about to be born, and the reward is 20,000 red packet money, 2 packs of baby diapers, and 2 baby bottles. They have been put in the trunk of your car, so please check to see if they are there. In the future, as long as the host takes good care of the baby and lets them grow up safely and become an outstanding father, they will receive more rewards. A cold voice suddenly appeared in his mind, and Gu Xingchen was startled. Just as he thought he was hearing things. "Ding, your ICBC card with the last digit 1314 has deposited 20,000 yuan at 11:09 on September 11th, and the current balance is 31,089.8 yuan. Gu Xingchen looked at the message received on his phone. It was true that 20,000 yuan had been deposited into his bank card. Then the voice in his head was real, he wasn't hearing things. The system? He had bound himself to the legendary system. Gu Xingchen, a fan of fiction, is no stranger to the system. He never imagined that the system really existed in the real world, and Gu Xingchen was ecstatic. The daddy system. As long as I treat my baby well, I will be rewarded? Just after binding, I was rewarded with 20,000 yuan in cash. The system is simply too good. Gu Xingchen tried to communicate with the system mentally. Are you the daddy system? Yes. As long as you take care of your baby well, you will be rewarded. Can I take care of all the babies? No, my master can only get rewards if he takes care of his own baby. But where did I get a baby from? I suddenly remembered what the system said earlier about his baby being ready to be born. Could it be that what the doctor said was true? Is Lin Kuei pregnant with my baby? Yes, they are your baby. It seems to know what Gu Xingchen is thinking, and the system's voice echoes in his mind. Gu Xingchen is both surprised and happy. He is surprised that he has suddenly become a father. He was happy that with the system by his side, he would have no pressure when raising his child in the future. The female doctor's voice rang out again. "Miss Lin, you are sure that the child is yours? How can you not admit it? You young people only care about your own happiness and don't consider the consequences at all. You live your lives in a daze and are irresponsible. Gu Xingchen coughed and said, "Well, doctor, now that you've reminded me, I remember that I am indeed the children's father." The doctor's expression was extremely bad. "If it is, it is. If it isn't, it isn't. Why didn't you admit it just now? Are you afraid of taking responsibility?" Gu Xingchen felt extremely embarrassed at the sharp gaze of the scumbag. The young man still doesn't take responsibility for his actions and is evading it. The doctor wanted to say something else, but thought better of it and waved his hand, saying, "Forget it. These are all your business, I can't control it. Now hurry up and sign the paper, and go to the first floor to pay the fee later." Gu Xingchen sneered, "Okay, I know, doctor." He watched the doctor enter the delivery room, and his mood was despondent. Unexpectedly, he was all alone, and unexpectedly, he had a child of his own, and it was even bound to the system. Life is truly unpredictable. Unexpectedly, just now, that girl casually said, "Why are you so happy? Your wife is about to give birth?" In a short period of time, he had unexpectedly met Lin Kuei, the school beauty who had given birth prematurely, and what was even more coincidental was that he was actually the child's father. Having been orphaned since childhood and fostered by his younger sister's family, he seemed to have found the meaning of the rest of his life. As time passed, Gu Xingchen's nerves grew as he watched the closed door of the delivery room. Finally, the door to the delivery room opened. A nurse walked out. "Who is Lin Kuei's family?" Hearing the nurse's words, Gu Xingchen hurried forward. I am Lin Kuei's family." The nurse looked at Gu Xingchen and slowly said, "Both mother and child are safe, congratulations. You have a pair of dragon and phoenix twins. The sister and brother are in good condition, both weighing 5.2 pounds. Dragon and phoenix twins." Gu Xingchen was overjoyed. The probability of twins is very rare, and dragon and phoenix twins are even rarer. Following the nurse into the delivery room, Lin Kuei was still having her wound stitched up. Gu Xingchen's gaze fell on the cot next to her and she saw two wrinkly, red, skinny little babies lying on it, looking like two little monkeys. This was Gu Xingchen's first time seeing a newborn baby, and it was completely different from the cute paintings of adorable babies she usually saw on TV. Gu Xingchen was still worried about the adults and nervously asked the nurse, "Where are the adults? You just said you were sewing up the wound, is that dangerous?" The nurse shook her head and said, "Don't worry, although it was a cesarean section, Ms. Lin is very safe." As she spoke, Lin Kuei was pushed out. At this time, her hair was messy, her beautiful little face and lips were pale and bloodless. She turned her head to see Gu Xingchen and opened her mouth to say something. Gu Xingchen quickly stopped her and said, "You rest first, I'll always be here, and we can talk about whatever you want to say when you recover." Lin Kuei nodded with difficulty, then closed her eyes tiredly. It was all like a dream. She had just reached the due date, but she had unexpectedly gone into premature labor. It so happened that the one who saved the three of them was the baby's father. Perhaps this was fate. Due to the depletion of her vital energy, Lin Kuei fell into a deep sleep after a while. Lin Kuei currently only had Gu Xingchen as a family member. Due to the sudden premature labor, there was no time to prepare for anything, so after the baby was born, everything was left to Gu Xingchen. "While your mother is resting, go to the supermarket next door and buy some medical pads for her to use after giving birth. Also buy clothes for the baby, diapers, bottles, and anything else the baby needs." After the adults and children were transferred from the delivery room to the general ward, Lin Kuei was still sleeping due to her excessive consumption, and the two newborns in the crib next to her were also sleeping soundly. Gu Xingchen was the only one here and couldn't get away at all. The other young mother in the same ward next to him had her husband and in-laws looking after her. Gu Xingchen was worried about leaving them, the mother and child, to sleep here. What if someone came and stole the baby while he was gone? So he took out his phone and called his good friend Rockethead to ask for help. The call was quickly connected there. "Hey, Brother Chen, why are you asking me to buy all these things? They're all things for the mother and baby." Gu Xingchen laughed and said, "Just buy what I tell you to buy. I've sent you the money and address. Hurry up, I need it urgently. I'll explain when I get there." "Okay, Chen Gu, I'll get right on it." After hanging up the phone, Gu Xingchen looked at the two sleeping babies and a happy smile spread across her face. The young mother in the next bed had just woken up. When she saw her friend in the ward and the two babies in the crib, she let out a whoop and asked in a low voice out of envy, "You've got twins, right?" Gu Xingchen smiled, her face beaming with pride. "Yes, they are twins." The young mother kept on envying them, saying that they are blessed. "She gave birth to a little princess yesterday, and she and her husband are quite happy." It's just that her mother-in-law next to her would rather she had given birth to a son. After learning that it was a little princess, she has been frowning since yesterday. Chapter 3, They are also my children, and I am responsible for taking care of them. More than half an hour later, Rocket had arrived at the hospital ward in a hurry. Chengu, I have brought the medical pads you asked for, and the baby's clothes. I will go get the diapers and baby bottles later, just give me the key. Rocket had found a place to put the things down, and his gaze fell on the hospital bed and the baby bed. When he saw Lin Kuei's face and the two little babies next to her, he was completely confused. No, Chengu, what's going on here? Why is the school beauty here, and what's going on with the two little babies? Rocket Head was completely at a loss. Gu Xingchen smiled and explained, I'm a father now, as you can see, the father of the two children, and the mother of the children is the school beauty Lin Kuei. Rocket Head stared at him with wide eyes, unbelieving, Are you serious? Yes. Rocket Head couldn't accept it for a moment. Are you serious? I haven't seen you two dating. Shen, you're not going to be a father because of the school beauty Lin Kuei, are you? Gu Xingchen was speechless. Did I look like someone who would take over the business? Rocket Head looked at him seriously and then shook his head. Although Gu Xingchen's family was not well off, his appearance was beyond reproach. Handsome as a horse. With his appearance and personality, there was no need to take over the business. But Rocket still found it too unbelievable. When did you and Linda's school beauty get together? Gu Xingchen gave him the car keys, pushed him to the door, and said, We'll talk about when we got together some other time. You hurry up and go to the trunk and get me the diapers and bottles. It so happened that the mother in the next bed was going downstairs for a walk, and her family all went out with her. After Rocket left, Lin Kuei opened her eyes dazedly. The first thing she did after waking up was look for the two little babies. She relaxed when she saw them sleeping soundly in their cribs. At this time, apart from the twins, they were the only ones in the ward. Lin Kuei naturally saw him. Lin Kuei wanted to speak but felt her mouth go dry. Gu Xingchen knew that after a cesarean section, you can't drink water yet. Wait a moment, I'll dip a cotton swab in water and moisten your lips. Lin Kuei nodded gently and said thank you. Gu Xingchen moistened her lips with the cotton swab a few times, and Lin Kuei suddenly felt much better. I didn't think I would go into labor so early, and you actually took me to the hospital. Thank you really. After I returned from the natural hotel, I didn't find out that I was pregnant until 3 or 4 months later. Since I had never been in a relationship before, the father of the child could only be you. I never thought that we would meet by such a coincidence today. Nowadays, college students getting pregnant and having abortions are commonplace. Gu Xingchen wonders why, at such a young age, she, the beautiful head girl of the school, insists on giving birth to her child. In today's society, a girl has sex with someone with whom she has no emotional foundation and is willing to give birth to the child. Gu Xingchen doesn't believe that the other party is willing to give birth because they love her. Lin Kuei smiles, because the baby is a living being. Since I'm pregnant with them, I have to give birth to him. I just didn't expect that there would be 2 babies. For Lin Kuei, life is a gift from heaven. She never expected to receive 2 blessings. Gu Xingchen sat quietly next to her and listened. I originally planned to give birth on my own and not disturb your life, but I never expected to suddenly give birth today. And it just so happened that you were the one who took me to the hospital. Moreover, I only learned today that the hospital requires the family member's signature for a cesarean section. My parents were not around, and seeing that the babies were about to be born, I could only ask the doctor to go find you. Gu Xingchen, I decided to give birth to the children, and it's none of your business. I won't disturb your life in the future, and I will raise the babies by myself, so don't worry. Gu Xingchen raised an eyebrow. Are you really prepared to raise the 2 babies on your own in the future? What will you do when they grow up and look for their father? What if they go to school and are bullied by other kids because they don't have a father? How will you face that? Lin Kuei looked dejected, pursed her lips, then plucked up the courage to say, I've thought about all this, and I can handle it if it happens in the future, and I will protect the babies. She said stubbornly, turned her face away, and wouldn't look at him. Gu Xingchen could see that she didn't have much confidence. In fact, these problems are very easy to solve. Although they are your children, they are also mine. I hope that I can raise them with you. As long as I am by their side in the future, they will have a father, and they will not be teased or even bullied by their classmates when they go to school. What do you think? Lin Kowei turned her head and looked at him incredulously. Do you know what it means to raise two babies? Gu Xingchen nodded meticulously. Of course I know, but they are my children, and I will never let them go no matter what. Even if I don't have any money now, I will work hard to earn money to raise them. Even if I have to sell everything, I don't want my children to suffer or be wronged. Gu Xingchen lost his parents at a young age and was raised by his aunt. Although his aunt treated him like her own child, she ultimately had her own children and family. Although he had lived well at his aunt's house over the years, Gu Xingchen had always felt like a guest in someone else's house. He longed for a family of his own. Unexpectedly, fate was so mysterious that he actually had two children of his own. Lin Kowei looked at his incredibly serious expression and was moved. For a moment, she didn't know what to say. Anyway, from now on you just rest up, I'll take care of the babies. When Rocket Head brought the diapers and bottles back from the car's trunk, he was taken aback when he stepped into the hospital room and saw Lin Kowei's gaze fall on him. In a panic, he smiled and greeted her, "Hey, school beauty, how are you?" "Ah, I should call you sister-in-law now." "Hello, sister-in-law, I'm Chen Ji's good friend, my name is Rocket Head." "I'm Rocket Head, and I call Lin Kowei sister-in-law." Not only Lin Kowei herself, but Gu Xingchen was also embarrassed by the whole thing. He quickly went over and took the diapers away from Rocket Head, who was looking on with a face of amusement. "Thanks for today, buddy." "It's okay, you can go back first, I'll treat you to barbecue some other time." Outside the corridor, Rocket Head looked reluctant. "It's okay, Brother Chen, it's true that you have a story with Lin the school beauty, you even have a child together, congratulations. That's the big school beauty Lin Kowei, the existence pursued by countless people, and you actually took her down. Such a happy event, you promised to treat, don't forget." Gu Xingchen gave him a look of his own experience. Okay, it's just a treat, a happy event, if you have time, you can order whatever you want to eat, anyway, thank you, brother. Chapter 4 Obstetrics and Gynecology Celebrity, I'm afraid it's a scum? Back in the ward, I didn't see Lin Kowei's family. Gu Xingchen didn't ask what her family was doing or why they weren't by her side. Lin Kowei would definitely be concerned about this too. After all, for women, giving birth is a very painful and terrifying thing. It is thought that when a woman gives birth, her uterus must be opened, and the longer it takes, the more painful it is, which is a torture for the mothers. If it is a cesarean section, it will be even more painful. The wound will need to be stitched up, and after giving birth, the mother will have difficulty moving around, and every day will be an ordeal. Gu Xingchen had seen these things on TV science programs. Many parents don't want to have a second child after their first child, because it's so torturous. Gu Xingchen understood the suffering Lin Kowei had endured giving birth to her twins. Seeing Lin Kowei's pale face, Gu Xingchen went over to her and said firmly, "You rest well, I'll take good care of you in the future." After Lin Kowei rested, the babies woke up at that moment. The nurse came over and asked to take the children for a checkup and a bath. The hospital had prepared small baby cots that could be wheeled around, and Gu Xingchen came to the side of the cot and looked tenderly at the two little ones inside. They were his own children. He had a family again. Gu Xingchen's heart was heavy with joy and happiness. He wheeled the babies to the place for the checkup and found that there were quite a few people in line. Parents pushing the small baby cots laughed happily with each other while waiting in line. Gu Xingchen noticed that an aunt next to them was happy because her daughter-in-law had given her a grandson. One father's face was full of joy because he had gotten a daughter. During the casual conversation, Gu Xingchen also saw a baby weighing more than 9 jin in his father's arms, and his father's face was full of pride and show-off. Gu Xingchen saw that the baby was almost a circle older than his own child. His two little ones were both 5.2 jin, and compared to others, the skinny little Gu Xingchen was heartbroken. Because Gu Xingchen is so handsome, he stands out in the crowd pushing his stroller. He attracted attention as soon as he arrived, and when he saw his two babies lying in the stroller, he couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. "Wow, 2 babies, twins, right?" "Yes, twins." "Oh my, twins, you're so blessed. Congratulations. By the way, are you their father?" "Yes." Gu Xingchen nodded with a smile, his expression full of pride. "Mom, you're so young to be a father, and you have twins. I'm so jealous I could cry." "Ha, you're right, twins are so rare, and it's a blessing to meet them. Young man, you're so good looking, your kids will definitely be handsome and beautiful when they grow up." Hearing everyone praise his children, Gu Xingchen's face grew even happier. A sense of happiness welled up within him. As they chatted, the parents got back to gossiping. "Hey, did you hear? There's another set of twins in our hospital today. The mother is about to give birth, but the father doesn't want to sign the consent form. He says he doesn't know the baby, that it's not his. They've already brought the baby to the hospital, and he still says he doesn't know it. I heard that the mother carrying the twins in her arms is very pretty, like a fairy. She's much prettier than those celebrities, many times over. But the father says he doesn't know her. Do you think he's a scumbag? Gu Xingchen looked embarrassed, because the subject of everyone's conversation was him. Fortunately, they finally got to them in the queue. The doctor who examined them raised an eyebrow when he saw the ID. Are you Gu Xingchen? Yes, that's me. Congratulations, you've got twins, and you're a young father of 2. Keep up the good work. The doctor encouraged him with a smile. The hospital was so small that the doctors in the obstetrics and gynecology department all knew each other, and any interesting news in the hospital quickly spread. What's more, Lin Kowei was such a beautiful mother, and the twins she gave birth to were rare. The father of the children who brought them here actually said that he didn't know the mother well and that the children weren't his. At first, he tried to avoid signing the documents, but then he happily admitted that he was the father of the children. After this stunt, he has now become a celebrity in the entire maternity ward. There are quite a few things that need to be checked on newborn babies. For example, the 5 senses, limbs, jaundice, etc. must all be checked. Gu Xingchen felt so much pain watching the babies being tossed back and forth in the hands of the doctor. He couldn't help but remind the doctor, could you please be more gentle? The babies are just born and very weak. It's normal for a father to feel worried about his newborn child. The doctor couldn't help rolling her eyes. This is the sentence she hears most every day. She gave him a look, signifying to Gu Xingchen to rest assured that she knows what the doctor is thinking. The 2 babies were tossed about a bit, but they didn't cry as much as Gu Xingchen had expected. They simply grunted. The other babies were all crying, but when it came to her own, they only grunted a little. Gu Xingchen couldn't help but worry again. Doctor, my baby isn't crying. What's the situation like? The doctor said while examining, the baby is very healthy and there is nothing wrong with it. Not every baby cries, so you don't need to worry. Because they are twins, they seem a little smaller than normal babies, but their heads will grow as they nurse. After hearing the doctor's words, Gu Xingchen's heart finally settled. After returning to the ward after the examination, Lin Kowei couldn't wait to ask, what were the results of the baby's examinations? Gu Xingchen nodded and handed her the examination sheet. The babies are very healthy and there are no major problems. How about you, how is your body, are there any uncomfortable areas? Because it was a cesarean section, even if an analgesic pump was used, it did not relieve all the pain, and everyone's constitution is different. Some people still feel like dying in pain even if they use an analgesic pump. That's why Gu Xingchen asked. Lin Kowei pondered for a moment and said slowly, it doesn't hurt so much anymore, but I feel a bit uncomfortable with the bloating. At this time, the nurse happened to come to the ward and heard their conversation. She explained, you are probably trying to pass gas. By the way, if you're hungry now, you can't eat right away. You had a cesarean section, so you need to wait until the gas has passed before eating. Gu Xingchen nodded, silently taking it to heart. Then he asked the nurse where the hospital cafeteria was and if they could go there to get takeaway. You can go there to get takeaway, or you can go out and buy something. The nurse was a practical person, and seeing that they were young, she was afraid that they had limited financial resources, so she specifically reminded them that they didn't have to buy from the hospital cafeteria. Chapter 5 Xiaochen, you're really going to be a father? The nurse is a warm-hearted person. Seeing that all the other new mothers have family members here with them, Gu Xingchen is the only one who suggests that they should let their families know. It's more convenient to have an extra pair of hands. Lin Kowei's heart skipped a beat when she heard the nurse mention family. Her gaze then fell into a doldrums. After the nurse left, Gu Xingchen told her, I'll call and let my family know what's going on. Lin Kowei looked at him anxiously. You want to tell my aunt and uncle? No. I don't have a mom or dad, so I'll talk to my aunt. Lin Kowei let out a little gasp, and her eyes filled with worry. Gu Xingchen looked at her for a moment before continuing, I'll see if my aunt is free. This is the first time I'll be taking care of you and the baby, so I'm afraid I won't be able to handle it all. If she's not available, I'll hire an au pair to help out. Gu Xingchen's aunt lived in the countryside, about a 2-hour drive outside of Yangchang. The transportation is convenient, so it is actually very convenient if you want to come over. Lin Kuwei was apprehensive, as Gu Xingchen and his aunt must have a very good relationship. Would the other party like her, and would they like the babies? Although she had just told Gu Xingchen that she would raise the babies herself, when the other party's family really came, she couldn't help but worry whether they would accept her children. Perhaps this was human nature, and Lin Kuwei didn't know why she had such thoughts. Gu Xingchen could see her worry and gently reassured her, "My sister-in-law is very easygoing, don't feel pressured. She can't wait for me to get married and have kids, she'll be really happy to see the two little ones." Gu Xingchen went out onto the balcony to make a phone call, and saw the mother in the next bed slowly walking back with the help of her husband and mother-in-law. Seeing this situation, Gu Xingchen couldn't help but think of Lin Kuwei. Childbirth is a dangerous thing for a woman, like walking through the gates of hell. Lin Kuwei's family and friends did not appear when she was pregnant until she gave birth by cesarean section, which shows how much hardship and suffering she has endured alone since becoming pregnant. What kind of person is Lin Kuwei? What kind of story is her past? Although she was the school's flower girl, not many people at school knew much about her. However, she has endured so much suffering since becoming pregnant. Gu Xingchen gathered her thoughts and found a place with few people to make the call. "Auntie. Xiaochen, have you had lunch yet?" "No, Auntie. It's already past noon, why haven't you eaten yet?" "You need to take care of your health while studying at school, you know." "Auntie, I know, but I have something to tell you today." "What is it, something about work? Have you really decided to drive a DD during your internship instead of finding a job in your field?" "Alas, not that I'm saying anything, but your aunt and I both feel that driving a DD has no future. We hope that you find a stable job that is safe. You drive a DD on the road every day, and there are so many cars in the big city, it's so dangerous." Hearing her aunt's words of concern, Gu Xingchen's heart warmed, and he shook his head and said, "Auntie, it's not about work." "If it's not work, is it a relationship? Did your ex-girlfriend who dumped you last time regret it?" "No." "Auntie, don't get too excited when I tell you." "Go ahead, I'm a big girl, I've seen it all." "What is it? Tell me, I promise I won't get excited." "Auntie, I'm having a baby. I'm going to be a father." "You're now an auntie of 2 babies." Gu Xingchen took a deep breath and told her that she was having twins. The auntie on the other end of the line was stunned by his words. "Auntie, are you still there? You're going to be an auntie." "Xiaochen, this is too sudden, you can't be joking with your sister-in-law." Gu Xingchen knew that his sister-in-law didn't believe him. After all, she knew that he had just broken up with his ex-girlfriend less than 2 months ago. 2 months is not enough time to have 2 more children, and she would be suspicious at first. Gu Xingchen grinned happily, her auntie was telling the truth, you really are going to become an auntie. Her auntie still didn't believe it, so, Xingchen, be honest with your auntie, did you just pick up any girl to take over after your ex-girlfriend broke up with you because you were so heartbroken? You're my sister's only son, now that she is gone, I have to keep a close eye on you, we can't do something like take over, you are the only child in the Gu family. Auntie, for the sake of my parents, there is no way I can take over the business. Oh, there are some things that are hard to explain over the phone. I'm at the hospital with the mother of my child right now, but I have no experience taking care of a new mother and baby. I'm afraid I might not be able to do a good job. If you have time, come over and help me out. No, but if you don't have time, I can hire an au pair. To be honest, is the baby really yours? You didn't take over the business? No, Auntie, it's 100% mine. Okay, since you say so, if it's really yours, your family will have an heir. My sister will be happy to know. Send me your address, I'll pack my things and go to Yangcheng. Okay, Auntie, I've sent you the address via WeChat. Call me when you get to the hospital entrance, I'll come down to pick you up. Okay, I'll be there in the afternoon. Okay, Auntie, be careful on the road. Over there, after hanging up the phone, my auntie quickly packed her things and got ready to go out. Since her nephew definitely had the baby, his sister really did have a grandchild. Unfortunately, her sister had a hard life and passed away early, unable to see her 2 grandchildren. Thinking about her late sister and brother-in-law, the auntie couldn't help wiping away a tear. Xiaochen is a hard-working boy, and now he has his own children. I'm happy for him. At this moment, the auntie's husband, who had gone out to work in the fields, returned home. Seeing his wife packing her things and getting ready to go out, he couldn't help but ask curiously, "Wife, what are you packing for? Are you going out?" The auntie smiled through her reddened eyes. "I'm going to Yangcheng for a visit." Xiaochen is a father now, and I'm going to the hospital to help take care of the children. Then she repeated what Gu Xingchen had told her. Her husband was shocked. You're telling me that Xiaochen really is a father? And he has 2 babies? Are you serious? He just broke up with her, so how can he suddenly have kids? Her sister-in-law knew that she didn't believe it, but it was true. Xiaochen had really said that the children were his. It was hard to explain over the phone, so she would explain to her face to face when she arrived. Honey, you have a bad leg, so just stay home this time. I'll go see what's going on. It's getting late, so I'll leave now to catch the bus and try to get to Yangcheng as soon as possible. I've already finished cooking dinner, so keep it warm in the rice cooker. If you're hungry, help yourself. I'm leaving now. After finishing packing, she hurriedly left the house, leaving an astonished uncle behind. Chapter 6: The Nervousness of New Parents. In the hospital room, Gu Xingchen sensed Lin Kuei's embarrassment. He suddenly thought of something and quickly pulled the curtain next to the bed over. Lin Kuei said with an embarrassed expression, "Well, I suddenly want to go to the bathroom, but I don't have the strength yet. Can you help me?" Then she turned her face away with an unnatural expression, afraid to look at him. "Sure, I'll get it ready for you." Upon hearing Lin Kuei's words, Gu Xingchen nodded. Now that she had just had a cesarean section and had her stitches removed, she would probably not be able to get up and move around for about 6 hours. She would need a urine bag for going to the bathroom. Gu Xingchen watched her movements, and Lin Kuei blushed the whole time. In a moment, Gu Xingchen poured a urine bag for her to urinate. She would need to use the urine bag all the time until she could get up and walk around. After Gu Xingchen washed her hands, she went to see the babies. The 2 little ones were sleeping soundly in their tiny little bodies, smelling sweet and with a milk-like fragrance. Gu Xingchen couldn't help but feel soft-hearted when he looked at them. He cautiously reached out to touch the babies' little hands. Who knew that the next second they would clasp his hands tightly? Gu Xingchen was excited. Did they know that their father had come? In the hospital bed, Lin Kuei turned her head and looked at the crib, revealing the radiance of motherhood. At the same time, she also saw the love from her father radiating from Gu Xingchen. Lin Kuei took a secret look at Gu Xingchen and noticed how tenderly he looked at the babies. The gaze of a person when they are not aware of it is the most sincere. It showed that Gu Xingchen really liked the 2 babies. Perhaps, his words about wanting to raise the babies together were sincere. Although Lin Kuei planned to raise the 2 babies alone, just as Gu Xingchen said, when the babies were young it would be fine, but when they grew up and understood things, what would she do? Everyone else has a father, why don't they? Perhaps this path is not as easy as she thought. Gu Xingchen looked at the babies, walked lightly past them, and said happily to herself, "I'll tell you what, just now I took the babies to the doctor, and everyone around us praised the babies for being so cute. We are so blessed. They said that when the babies grow up, they will definitely be handsome men and beautiful women." Lin Kuei couldn't help smiling in bed. Her eyes were shining, and she looked so good, not to mention how happy she was. "I don't want them to be handsome or pretty, I just want them to grow up safely and that's enough for me." Gu Xingchen smiled happily. "Of course, we will take care of them, not only will they grow up safely, they will also be happy." However, while they were talking, the babies suddenly started to cry. The 2 of them were startled and thought that it was their voices that woke the babies up. A nurse passing by reminded Gu Xingchen to go and see if the babies had pooped. Pooped? Lin Kuei suddenly thought of something. "Oh no, they were born suddenly today, and I haven't brought any baby necessities, not even diapers." Gu Xingchen pointed to the baby necessities in the corner and smiled without saying a word. Lin Kuei was surprised when she saw it. "You brought it all?" Gu Xingchen nodded and said that Tuo Huojiu had bought it, and he had just come to the hospital to bring the baby necessities. After answering, Gu Xingchen concentrated on examining the babies and found that, as the nurse had reminded him, the babies had pooped. The babies had just been born not long ago and looked so small and fragile. Gu Xingchen was afraid to change their diapers while holding them up, for fear of hurting their delicate arms and legs if he didn't do it gently. Seeing Gu Xingchen's helplessness in the face of the babies, the nurse standing outside the door couldn't help but laugh. So she walked over with interest to give the new father some guidance. "You don't hold the babies like that, you should hold them like this. Yes, that's it, relax, relax, too relaxed, don't be nervous, the babies are not as fragile as we think. This is the little ear of the diaper, so you can lift the baby's lower leg like this." Gu Xingchen's nervous forehead was sweating, and she turned her head carefully to look at the young nurse, wondering if this was really okay. Would the babies feel any pain? Lin Kuei was also worried about the babies as she watched from the bed, but she couldn't help smiling at Gu Xingchen's apprehensive expression. Gu Xingchen looked silly but also kind of cool. The young nurse was patient, and she went up to him and demonstrated how to do it. You can see that it's fine like this, and the babies didn't react at all. With the nurse's on-site guidance, Gu Xingchen's confidence increased greatly, and she followed her steps. But when he unfastened the baby's diaper, he was dumbfounded. The stink on the diaper was actually dark green? This is not the color of an ordinary person. Gu Xingchen worriedly asked, "Nurse, why is it this color? Will my baby be okay? My child won't be poisoned, this color looks abnormal." Lin Kuei, who was lying in the hospital bed, was also taken aback. How could it be this color? "Nurse, is something wrong with my baby?" Looking at the two new parents, the nurse explained with a smile that it wasn't a problem with the baby, it was just the baby's meconium. This baby is always this color, and after drinking milk, the color will gradually become normal. After hearing the nurse's explanation, the two of them let out a sigh of relief. They were really nervous just now. The nurse continued, "Now let's clean the stink for the baby, and prepare warm water." Gu Xingchen saw the stink on the baby's bottoms and remembered to wash them with warm water. She quickly went to the bathroom, found a basin, poured in some warm water, and brought it to the nurse. Changing diapers and cleaning the baby's bottoms made Gu Xingchen feel more nervous than taking the college entrance exam. After she finished with the older baby, the younger one kept on grunting. Gu Xingchen quickly went over to change the younger baby's diaper according to the same procedure. With the experience from earlier, his movements were noticeably smoother this time. The nurse continued to give instructions, also, make sure the baby's diapers are tied properly. If they're too loose, the stink will show, and they can't be too tight either, or the babies will be uncomfortable. Gu Xingchen listened intently and took careful notes. After taking care of the baby, the nurse pulled the curtain down and told Gu Xingchen, in addition to the baby, the adults also need to be checked. I'll show you how. First, lift up the adult's quilt, and then continue to check the mother's discharge. Gu Xingchen followed the nurse methodically, as the health of the adults was at stake, and there was no room for carelessness. Ah! Lin Kuei's face turned red, and she covered her face with her hands and screamed in her heart. If she could, she really wanted to find a crack in the ground and dive in at this moment. It would be so embarrassing to be seen in that kind of place by Gu Xingchen. Gu Xingchen did not notice Lin Kuei's shyness. At this moment, the voice of the system rang in his head, "Ding dong, congratulations to the master for successfully changing the baby's diapers, and you are rewarded with 50,000 yuan in cash." Chapter 7, How Do I Breastfeed? Lin Kuei wanted to find a crack in the ground and crawl into it. She was so ashamed, she didn't know how to face anyone. Why was this happening to her? Lin Kuei was so embarrassed that she wanted to leave Yang City by train that night. After the system's voice had finished, Gu Xingchen noticed Lin Kuei's unusual behavior. He looked just as embarrassed. The nurse couldn't help but tease the two of them, as she watched their performance. "You already have a child, and you're still so shy." Gu Xingchen looked unnatural and quickly changed the subject. "Well, nurse, do you want to breastfeed the baby now?" The nurse glanced at Lin Kuei, who was covering her face, and said, "Go ahead. Later, we'll see if the mother has started lactating. It's best to breastfeed a newborn." Gu Xingchen nodded and agreed that it was best to breastfeed the baby. Later, when they had the chance, they would feed the baby formula. The nurse didn't finish her work and continued to explain to Gu Xingchen how to take care of the mother while they were gone. Next, she began to use iodophor to clean and disinfect Lin Kuei's wound. Then she skillfully reached down and pressed on Lin Kuei's lower abdomen, carefully observing her expression. "How is it? How does it feel?" Lin Kuei frowned slightly, her stomach feeling uncomfortable. The nurse laughed and said, "It's normal to feel uncomfortable. I'm helping you to expel the gas. By the way, have you passed gas yet?" Lin Kuei shook her head, "No." The young nurse continued to give instructions, saying, "No matter how hungry you are, you must wait until you have passed gas before eating. Do you understand? You can eat something like millet porridge or other liquid food." "Okay." Lin Kuei nodded, and just as she removed her hand from her face, she happened to meet Gu Xingchen's eyes. Lin Kuei's face turned red. The nurse continued to fuss with her, and she thought she was going to die right there. Just as this thought popped into her head, the nurse's next words made her feel like giving up on life. The nurse turned to Gu Xingchen and said, "The baby's mother has leaked, so you go and get a new medical pad to replace it." It must be kept clean at all times to prevent the growth of bacteria. Gu Xingchen stood next to her, asking questions if he didn't understand something. The nurse patiently answered the questions from this novice father the whole time. Okay, have you all remembered? Yes, thank you, nurse. This is what I should do. Now you can go and feed the baby. The nurse has been here for so long since the baby was born, and now they have pooped again. It's time to feed them. Breastfeed the baby. Gu Xingchen, both of them are newbies and have no idea what to do. Gu Xingchen, if you don't know, just ask. Little girl, how do I start breastfeeding? The nurse laughs and replies, just see if the mother has milk now. If the baby can drink right away, if not, just pump. If you still can't pump, you can go buy a breast pump, which is specially designed for new mothers. Gu Xingchen nodded to indicate that she understood. The nurse left the ward satisfied, saying to call her if there was anything she didn't understand. There was a call button in the ward, and she would come over when it was pressed. Well, the babies must be hungry, let's feed them. After the nurse left, she left the two novice parents looking at each other. Gu Xingchen coughed to relieve the awkwardness and said, "Oh, okay, I want to wipe it with a hot towel." Lin Kuwei had pressed the pain relief pump, but now she couldn't move her lower body and was unable to move around easily. She needed constant care. I'll go get it for you. Gu Xingchen froze for a moment, but quickly recovered. She quickly brought a towel dipped in hot water. Lin Kuwei's expression was awkward, and she was extremely embarrassed inside. But in order for the two babies to drink milk better, she let go of her inner defenses. In front of Gu Xingchen, she unbuttoned her shirt and carefully wiped the baby's rations. Gu Xingchen's eyes widened. Damn, the baby's mom is so big. You can't tell from the hospital gown, but she's so big. It seems that the babies will never go hungry in the future. Even though she had made up her mind, she still couldn't hide her shyness on her face. Gu Xingchen turned his head away, embarrassed to look at the other person. But the image just now kept lingering in his mind. He never imagined that Lin Kuwei, who was usually cold and aloof and unattainable, looked so cute when she was shy. When she is shy, a blush of red appears on her face and neck, and her long eyelashes and curved eyebrows make her look especially charming. Lin Kuwei is about 167 centimeters tall and weighs less than 100 pounds. Most people think that girls who weigh less than 100 pounds are either short or have an A-cup figure. But Lin Kuwei is a huge exception. Not only is she tall, but she is also spectacular. Gu Xingchen never imagined that the school flower, who was sought after by everyone at school, would now often become the mother of his child. Just then, the baby's grunting sounds could be heard again. As the nurse had guessed, the babies were hungry. Lin Kuwei took a deep breath, put aside her shyness, and completely gave up for the sake of the babies. Bring the baby over, I should be able to drink it directly without having to breastfeed. She was confident in the size of her ration. Gu Xingchen helped her take the towel away and then went to bring the baby over. The two babies had just been born and looked exactly alike. If it weren't for the different colors of the little blankets they were wrapped in, Gu Xingchen would not have been able to tell which was the sister and which was the brother. The sister was crying a little louder, so Gu Xingchen carefully lifted her up. The little one's face was red from crying, and her tender arms and legs were indescribably cute. Gu Xingchen held the older baby tremblingly, ready to hand him over to Lin Kuwei. Do you know how to feed him? Ha! I don't know either. Lin Kuwei could only promise that she had milk, but she had no experience in how to feed a baby. The two of them were at a loss as they looked at the baby who was crying more and more fiercely. Gu Xingchen could only press the call button to get a nurse to come and help. Soon the same enthusiastic nurse came in. Gu Xingchen hurriedly said, Well, nurse, how should I feed the baby? Just hold it and feed it. The nurse's gaze fell on Lin Kuwei and asked, Has the mother started lactating? Yes, we have milk. That's easy. Just hold the baby in your arms and bring it close to you, and it will find its own food to drink. Oh, is that how you hold it? Lying horizontally. Seeing that the two of them were hesitant, the nurse gave a small smile and said, I'll show you how to do it. Just feed the baby the way I show you. But soon her smile froze. It's true that people can be so jealous. Her figure is better than hers, her temperament is better than hers, and she's so big. The nurse looked down at her own little dumplings. Alas, why aren't they big, plump buns like Lin Kuwei's? Looking at Lin Kuwei's ration size, the nurse couldn't help but feel envious. Suppressing her strange emotions, the nurse taught the couple hand in hand the correct way to hold their baby, and how to support their bottom. Feeding your baby for the first time can be painful, so be prepared. Chapter 8, Choosing a Name for Your Baby, 300 Reward Nursery Rhymes. Lin Kuei nodded. But despite the nurse's reminder, Lin Kuei was already mentally prepared. But when she placed her baby in front of the food, ah! Lin Kuei couldn't help but exclaim in pain. What's wrong? Gu Xingchen asked, approaching. Although newborn babies don't have teeth yet, this is their first time breastfeeding, so it's possible that their tummies are growling. Debao's first bite used a lot of strength. It hurts when you pull. Lin Kuei said with a grievance. Gu Xingchen comforted gently, bear with it, oh, the babies will finish eating soon. Lin Kuei nodded hard. In order not to let the baby go hungry, she had to bear with the pain. The little guy was eating happily with a puff, and Gu Xingchen and Lin Kuei looked at them with gentle eyes, with a relieved expression on their faces. But soon, Lin Kuei's face reddened again. Gu Xingchen began to wonder what was going on, but then she looked down and saw that the ration had already dribbled onto her chest. It turned out that when babies are born, their stomachs are still small and cannot hold much milk. If the babies cannot eat anymore, they will spit it out. Seeing her baby spit up milk and the ration dribble onto her neck, Lin Kuei looked heartbroken. Gu Xingchen quickly brought her a tissue to wipe it off repeatedly. She was afraid that the delicate skin of her eldest son would become infected. After feeding the elder child, she then went on to the younger child. With the efficacy of the elder child, when the younger child had finished eating, Lin Kuei quickly took the ration out of his mouth, which prevented the younger child from spitting up. Newborn babies spend most of their time sleeping, except for when they are feeding and going to the bathroom. At this moment, the two siblings, who had just finished eating, fell asleep soon after. Lin Kuei looked at the two sleeping babies with gentle eyes. She turned to Gu Xingchen and said, you should give the babies names. When they grow up, it's not a long-term solution to call them Big Treasure and Little Treasure every day. You're their father, so you should give them the names. Gu Xingchen gave Lin Kuei a deep look and nodded solemnly. He thought for a moment and said, how about Nanfeng Zi, with each baby taking 2 characters from it? Lin Kuei smiled tenderly and said, it's fine with me if you decide. Then the eldest baby will be called Gu Zi and the youngest baby will be called Gu Nanfeng. Nanfeng knows my heart, blowing dreams to Shizhou. Such beautiful words. I hope the baby's future lives are as romantic and beautiful as this. Gu Nanfeng, Gu Zi. Lin Kuei muttered to herself, then smiled, thinking that Gu Xingchen had picked such beautiful names for the babies. Gu Xingchen was satisfied and let out a quiet sigh of relief. After thinking for a moment, she suggested, now that we have the names, why don't you pick nicknames for the babies? Ha? Pick nicknames? Oh. How about Little Candy and Little Glutinous Rice? Lin Kuei tilted her head in thought for a while before saying. Gu Xingchen laughed and praised her, saying that it sounded good, and that even the names Little Candy and Little Glutinous Rice would be sure to be liked by the babies in the future. Lin Kuei was delighted, her eyes smiling like a crescent moon. Okay, I know, the nicknames will be Little Candy and Little Glutinous Rice. Ding, congratulations to the owner on naming the babies, reward of 10,000 yuan in cash, and proficiency in 300 nursery rhymes. Note, the baby is sleeping, and the protagonist sings nursery rhymes, with a sleep bonus function. The sound of the system rings, and the reward comes. In addition to 10,000 yuan in cash and the bank card, Gu Xingchen is also proficient in 300 nursery rhymes. In an instant, 300 nursery rhymes sprang to Gu Xingchen's mind. With the help of the system, he learned them all in an instant and mastered all the singing techniques perfectly. It was as if he had been born with them, as if they were instinctive. Gu Xingchen sighed, this skill is perfect for lulling babies to sleep. The system is truly amazing. After naming their baby, the two rested in the hospital room. During this time, Lin Kuei let out a sigh. An awkward sound rang out, turning Lin Kuei's face red. From what had happened today, it seemed that she had no image in front of Gu Xingchen. Just when Lin Kuei felt she had no face to show, Gu Xingchen's phone rang, and it was her sister-in-law calling. Sis-in-law, you've arrived? Xiaochen, I'm here at the Women's Health Hospital. What room are you in? I'll come up and find you. Sis-in-law, are you at the gate? I'll come down and pick you up. No need, the baby's mother and the baby need you to take care of them. Send me the room number and I'll go up there myself. Okay, we're in room 307, 3rd floor, building 9. Okay, I got it, I'll go up there right away. After hanging up the phone, Gu Xingchen said tenderly, that was my aunt. She's already in Yangchang and is getting ready to come up. Just now she heard that Gu Xingchen's aunt is on her way here, and now the other party is getting more prepared. Lin Kowei suddenly became very nervous. Her small hands unconsciously stroked her bangs, tidying her clothes, wanting to show Gu Xingchen's aunt in the best possible light. Tap, tap, tap. As time passed, the sound of footsteps approaching from outside the ward could be heard. Lin Kowei's heart was pounding non-stop, the sound of a nervous heartbeat. Knock, knock. At that moment, there was a knock on the door. Gu Xingchen saw Lin Kowei's nervousness and gave her a reassuring look, saying, "Don't be nervous, I'm here." Then she went to open the door. A middle-aged woman in her 40s with a kind smile appeared in the room. "Xiaochen, I'm here, little auntie." The person who had come was Gu Xingchen's little auntie, Su Yua. Gu Xingchen looked at the things she was holding in her hands and said helplessly, "Little auntie, you can come whenever you want, but why did you bring so many things?" The things in Su Yua's hands were all bought on the way to the hospital, including diapers, milk powder, baby clothes, and millet porridge and chicken soup from a milk restaurant. Su Yua gave her nephew a look. "You suddenly said you had a baby, and I didn't prepare anything for the baby visit, so I had to buy it on the way." "And I didn't buy it for you, so what are you saying?" Gu Xingchen put her hands on her forehead. Her aunt really doesn't give herself face. "Auntie, let me introduce you. This is the baby's mother, Lin Kowei. And this is my aunt, Su Yua." Gu Xingchen took the things in her hands and led her to the bedside to introduce them. Lin Kowei wanted to say hello, but her body was still not recovered and she looked very weak. Su Yua quickly came forward to help her and said, "Hey, you child, you haven't recovered yet, so don't move around. Rest well, and don't be polite with your aunt." Lin Kowei obediently nodded and said, "Hello, aunt." "Hello to you too. I brought you millet porridge and chicken soup, both are liquid foods. Have you passed gas yet? Come and eat something." Speaking of exhaust, Lin Kowei once again remembered the embarrassment she had just experienced. Gu Xingchen went up to her and said, "Auntie, Kowei has already passed gas." "Oh, that's good. Come and try the chicken soup I brought you. P.S. My friend helped me choose the name of my baby, and I really like it. It means, the south wind knows my feelings and blows to Mingxi Island. My friend is also a female author. You can read her books if you have the chance." Chapter 9, Kowei, come on, drink this bowl of chicken soup. Lin Kowei has already passed the venting stage and can eat. When she saw her sister-in-law Gu Xingchen trying to feed her, she quickly waved her hand and said, "Auntie, I can do it myself. You're just giving birth to a baby, you haven't recovered yet. Let me feed you. Back in the day, when I gave birth to my baby, my mother-in-law fed me. So, it's okay for me to feed you. Don't be shy. Be a good girl and try the chicken soup I bought. I looked it up online, and their chicken soup is delicious. I left in a hurry this time, but next time I'll let you try my cooking and I'll make it for you myself." With that, Su Yua ladled a spoonful of chicken soup and held it in front of Lin Kowei's mouth. Lin Kowei looked to Gu Xingchen for help, and seeing him nod at her, she obediently opened her mouth and drank the soup. "How is it? Does this chicken soup suit your appetite?" It's delicious, thank you, auntie." "What are you thanking me for? Since it's delicious, you should drink some more. Oh, and you should try the millet porridge too. Auntie has 2 children, and as someone who's been there, I know that after giving birth, you need to replenish your nutrients. If you don't get enough nutrients during your postpartum period, you'll get sick easily later." "Okay, I understand, auntie." Su Yua looked at her nephew, Xiaochen. "You must remember too, this is the person who risked her life to give birth to your baby for the Gu family. You must take care of your wife and not let her suffer, understand?" "I know, auntie. I won't mistreat Kowei. I will treat her well, don't worry." Su Yua looked at Gu Xingchen while feeding Lin Kowei. "Xiaochen, you suddenly told me that you were pregnant and I was going to become an auntie, and you said that you couldn't explain over the phone and had to tell me in person. Do you know how surprised I was when I got home? What's going on?" Facing her auntie's questioning, Gu Xingchen was about to speak up and explain, but Lin Kowei took the lead. "Auntie, don't blame Gu Xingchen for this. I'm mainly responsible for the baby. I went downstairs for some exercise today, and I didn't expect the baby to suddenly be born. Gu Xingchen happened to be driving a DD car, and he took me here. I only found out today that a family member needs to sign for a cesarean section, so I told him that the baby is his." Su Yuha suddenly understood. So it turns out that this child planned to give birth to the child on his own and raise it alone. Unexpectedly, the baby was premature, and they happened to meet their nephew driving a DD car and meet them to the hospital. One has to say that fate is wonderful. It feels like heaven has arranged it, as if it were meant to be. Lin Kowei continued, telling Su Yuha and Gu Xingchen everything that had happened. It turned out that 10 months ago, she had had a conflict with her family, so in a fit of anger, she sneaked out to drink. She just didn't expect that she was so bad at drinking, and got drunk after only a few drinks. On the way home, she accidentally fell asleep on the road. At this time, Gu Xingchen, who had returned from a party, saw her and was worried that she would be picked up by passers-by, so he helped her up and planned to find a hotel to settle her down. However, at that time, Gu Xingchen was also drunk and confused. As a result, when he woke up the next day, he was already in the hotel, and there was no longer a woman in the room, only a hint of red on the sheets. After listening to her explanation, Gu Xingchen suddenly remembered what had happened that day. My sister-in-law sighed and said, "Hey, every family has its own difficulties. My child, you have suffered a lot during this time." Su Yuha looked at Lin Kowei with even more sympathy in her eyes. Now that the baby was born, the hospital still hadn't seen the other family, so she guessed that she hadn't dared tell her family about her pregnancy and baby. She was a veteran of this, and knew the pain of giving birth. Su Yuha took her hand and said, "My child, I know what happened. Now that you've given birth to Xiaochen's baby, you're part of the Gu family. My sister passed away early, and I've always treated Xiaochen as if he were my own child. Once you're discharged from the hospital, go with Xiaochen to apply for the birth certificate. Register the babies and give them a complete family. Don't worry, I've watched Xiaochen grow up since he was little. If he dares to treat you badly, I'll help you get even with him." Apply for the birth certificate? Lin Kowei was taken aback. To be honest, she hadn't thought that far ahead. But the other person's words about giving the baby a complete family really touched her. Lin Kowei hesitated for a moment and said, "Auntie, let's wait until we get out of the hospital to talk about this. Besides, we don't know what Gu Xingchen is thinking yet. What else could he be thinking? My nephew is quite a nice person, tall and handsome, and he knows how to take care of people. I'm sure he'll be able to take care of you and the babies," said Su Yuha with a soft gaze. Gu Xingchen asked beside her, "Did your aunt come to Yangchang and talk to your uncle?" "Yes, he was also shocked to hear the news that you're pregnant. But as you know, your uncle has difficulty walking and can't take care of people, so he'll only cause trouble if he comes here. I told him to wait at home and I'll give him a call tonight to let him know what's going on." "Good. I'm planning to stay for a few days this time. You're both new parents with little experience, and sometimes it's hard to keep up with everything. I'll be here to help you out and take care of the baby for a few days. You haven't drunk much chicken soup yet, so have some more. And some millet porridge too. Xiaochen, come and feed Kowei for a bit while I go check on the baby." After saying this, Su Yuha handed the chicken soup to Gu Xingchen and got up to go to the crib. Gu Xingchen knew that his younger sister-in-law was creating opportunities for him to interact with Lin Kowei. She sat down in the chair next to the bed and smiled helplessly at Lin Kowei. "That's just my aunt's personality, please forgive her. I think your aunt has a very nice personality and is a very warm person. I can see that she treats you very well." Lin Kowei looked at Su Yuha, who was standing next to the crib, and said gently, "There's still a lot of chicken soup left, so drink some more to replenish your nutrients. I'll feed you." "Thank you." Next to the bed, Gu Xingchen looked tenderly at Lin Kowei as he fed her carefully. On the bed, Lin Kowei leaned against the headboard, obediently waiting for Gu Xingchen to feed her. The scene was very warm and harmonious. "Little Chen is amazing, the two dragon and phoenix babies are so big. I've seen other people give birth to twins, and basically they're all more than 4 pounds, much smaller than the babies." Next to the crib, the auntie looked at the faces of the two sleeping babies and beamed with love. These are her sister's grandchildren, how could she not love them? "Yes, Auntie, the babies weighed 5.2 pounds when they were born." 5.2 pounds. Go, the babies are great. Your family is blessed. Knowing that the babies were born so healthy, Su Yuha's smile grew even wider. She thought to herself, if her sister were still alive, she would be so happy to know that her two grandchildren are so healthy. Her son Xiaochen has found her a beautiful daughter-in-law. Chapter 10, The Baby's Special Care. Su Yuha asked, "Have you chosen names for the babies?" "Yes. The elder sister is called Gu Zi, nicknamed Xiatangmi Little Candy. The younger brother is called Gu Nanfong, nicknamed Xiamili Little Glutinous Rice. Zi, Nanfong, Xiatangmi, Xiamili. Well, those are really nice names, and the nicknames are also very nice. Upon hearing Gu Xingchen's words, Su Yua's eyes lit up and she muttered the nicknames of her babies. Just as Su Yua bent down to get a closer look at her babies, one of the babies in the crib opened its eyes drowsily. When Su Yua's big eyes appeared in view, Debao suddenly started crying. Su Yuha was startled. She knew that some newborns could open their eyes on the day of their birth, while most babies open their eyes 2 to 3 days after birth. If they are slow, they will not open their eyes until 7 days after birth. Unexpectedly, one of their babies is one of the few that will open their eyes on the same day. Su Yua quickly coaxed him. "Oh, it's little sweetie who has woken up, isn't it? Don't cry, I'm your auntie, I'm a relative of the baby." Su Yua saw that when Debao woke up, he cried, so she was afraid that she would affect the little glutinous rice next to her, so she carefully picked him up. Her movements were very gentle, for fear that a large range of motion would hurt the baby and have a bad influence on her. Gu Xingchen and Lin Kowei also saw the baby crying. Gu Xingchen quickly put down the spoon in his hand and walked over to the crib. When he arrived at his sister-in-law's side and looked at the baby in her arms, Gu Xingchen's face revealed a gentle smile, and he spoke softly, "Little Candy, you're awake, I'm your dad. Come, look at your dad, I'm right here, say dad." Su Yua gave him a blank look. "You really are a child, how could the baby possibly talk just after being born?" Gu Xingchen felt aggrieved. "I'm just so excited, my baby boy actually opened his eyes on the day of his birth, I'm so happy. I wonder if little sticky rice will open his eyes today too." The more he looked at the baby in his auntie's arms, the more Gu Xingchen liked it. "Auntie, I want to hold little sticky rice too." Gu Xingchen couldn't contain his excitement at the thought of his daughter opening her eyes. He couldn't wait to hold her and give her a kiss. "Okay, but newborn babies have soft bones, so you must be careful when you hold them." "I know, the nurse just taught us." The nurse taught them a more common way to hold a baby. "First, hold the baby with your wrist, then rest the baby's head on your shoulder, then use your elbow to support the baby's head, then use your wrist to protect the baby's back, and hold their bottom with your right hand." Su Yua watched from the side, and didn't let go of his hand until she was sure that Gu Xingchen really knew how to hold a baby. She also reminded him to be careful. Gu Xingchen nodded happily. He gently held his son in his arms. The little guy was so soft and cute. Gu Xingchen felt like his heart was being melted like ice cream. "Little Candy, Little Candy. Debao, your name is Little Candy. It's a nickname that your mommy gave you. Do you like it? Your name is Gu Ziyi, which is what dad calls you. Zaya Tangwo, remember?" Su Yuha was speechless. How could the baby remember anything when she had just been born? Gu Xingchen laughed. He knew that too, but he just couldn't help wanting to interact with them. Who could resist such a cute baby? "Come on, Zaya Tangwo, daddy will take you to mommy," Gu Xingchen said as he walked towards Lin Kowei. Since the babies were born, apart from feeding them, Lin Kowei had not been able to hold them much. Debao had even opened his eyes on the day of his birth, and she could not hide her joy. When Gu Xingchen brought the baby to her side, Lin Kowei's face shone with motherly love. It is said that becoming a mother makes a woman strong. Seeing her chubby baby, Lin Kowei felt that all the suffering she had endured over the past 10 months had been worthwhile. Although her body had not yet recovered, she felt full of strength at that moment. She reached out to take the little sweetie in her arms, and said in a gentle and loving voice, "Come here, baby, let mommy hug you." Looking at the little one moving around in her arms, Lin Kowei's face was filled with happiness. In her mother's arms, the little sweetie seemed to have smelled a scent that made her feel at ease, and she began to coo. "Hey, little one, why are you suddenly humming? Mommy is right here. Mommy is here, mommy is with you, be a good baby." Just as Lin Kowei was coaxing her eldest son, the nurse came to the door to remind them. "Room 307, are the babies awake? I need to take them for a bath." Gu Xingchen responded, "Eldest son is already awake, I'll go when baby boy wakes up." As soon as the nurse left, baby boy woke up. As expected of twins, the babies seemed to be in sync. The older sister just woke up, and the younger brother followed suit. Su Yua looked at the baby in the crib in amazement. "Xiaochen, come take a look, the little glutinous rice is also opening its eyes. Wow, what beautiful eyes, like jewels." The baby was able to open its eyes that very day, and Gu Xingchen and Lin Ke smiled with pride. Chapter 11, Gossip while bathing the baby. Lin Kowei was really happy. The two babies in her family were exceptionally talented, and they opened their eyes on the first day of their birth. Lin Kowei asked Gu Xingqian to hold Xiaobao over to her. It seemed that he sensed the reassuring smell and was so cute that he arched his tiny body in Lin Kowei's arms, just like a little piglet. After Lin Kowei's babies had become close, Gu Xingqian said to Su Yuha, "Auntie, the babies are awake. I'll take them to bathe, you stay here and take care of Kowei." Su Yuha shook her head, "I'll go instead. You stay here and see if Kowei needs any help." Gu Xingqian nodded. He knew that his aunt wanted him to spend more time alone with Lin Kowei to strengthen their bond. He thought for a moment and said, "Do you know where the bathroom is?" Su Yuha gave him a dirty look. How could she not trust herself? She smiled and replied, "You underestimate your auntie, don't you? I don't know where it is, and I don't know how to ask. There are so many nurses in the hospital." After saying that, Su Yuha put the two babies in the cot and pushed it out of the door. "Kowei, you rest well, I'll take care of the babies." Lin Kowei nodded as she looked at the babies. "Okay, you've worked hard, Auntie, take care on the way." Su Yuha nodded, "Don't worry, the babies will be fine with me." Before leaving, Su Yuha asked Gu Xingqian to take good care of Lin Kowei. The mother had just had a cesarean section and her body had not yet recovered, so she must be careful not to make any mistakes, otherwise it would be easy to leave a root of illness in the future. Gu Xingqian nodded seriously, and he would definitely take good care of Lin Kowei. There were many newborns in the women's healthcare hospital, so Su Yuha had to queue up with the babies. The parents in front of her in the queue saw that Su Yuha was friendly and took the time to chat with her. "Oh, my, two identical babies, twins?" Su Yuha's face broke into a smile. "Yes, twins." "Boys or girls?" The middle-aged woman was worried. "It's a boy. Alas, my daughter-in-law had a boy with her first child, and she wanted a girl this time, but it's still a boy. The future is full of pressure, 2 apartments, 2 sets of gifts." The middle-aged woman looked worried as she thought about having to prepare 2 houses and 2 sets of betrothal gifts for 2 male grandchildren. Su Yuha comforted her, saying, "Children and grandchildren have their own blessings. You should just enjoy your blessings in the future. Who says that male grandchildren necessarily need you to prepare a betrothal gift for them to buy a house? Maybe they'll grow up to be successful and do it themselves in the future. I can see that your little grandson is plump and healthy, and looks like he'll be blessed. He looks like someone who will be rich and powerful." The middle-aged woman sighed, wishing it were true. Suddenly she started chatting about gossip. "Hey, it's a coincidence, but today at the hospital, apart from your family's twins, there seems to be another pair as well. I'll tell you, it's hilarious. Today a man brought someone to the hospital, and the girl's parents wanted to sign the consent form for a cesarean section. When the doctor went to find the man said he didn't know the girl well and refused to sign anything. I heard that the man is still a college student and also drives a DD part-time. He said that he happened to encounter the girl when she was in labor and delivered the baby. Later, he still admitted that he was the baby's father and signed the papers. Isn't that funny? In my opinion, such a person is most likely a scumbag, and yet he got to have twins. I'm so jealous." Su Yuha. "It's so embarrassing to be eating melons and end up eating my nephew's melons." The middle-aged woman was getting more and more excited as she spoke. You see, college students nowadays are really messed up. They're so young and they're messing around, having babies before they even graduate. They don't study properly, they mess around every day, and they get big bellies at a young age. I wonder what their parents' faces would look like if they knew. Su Yuha laughed a little. It's not necessarily that they're messing around. A lot of seniors these days are already married. Getting married and getting a certificate doesn't prevent you from studying. Besides, nowadays there are quite a few graduate students in school who already have babies. The children are helped by their parents, and they continue to complete their studies. Middle-aged woman? Why is she suddenly so excited? She quickly let out a sound of surprise, and quickly came to her senses. How could it be that there are 2 sets of twins in the same hospital by chance? There is only one possibility. She embarrassedly laughed a few times, turned around and was embarrassed to speak. The baby shower area is a small pool, with 2 nurses in each team. One nurse is responsible for washing the baby, while the other dresses the baby. The 2 are quite skilled, and they wash a baby in just a few minutes, as if they were washing cabbage. The movements of the nurses are so fast that they make the novice parents feel scared. But when they face the experienced nurses, they always hold back what they want to say. Parents who feel that the nurses are acting roughly go up to scold the nurses, but they are quickly rebuked by the head nurse next to them. Their job is to bathe the babies, and they have bathed countless babies, so they are extremely experienced and the babies will not have any problems. Su Yuha watched on nervously, and when she saw the baby in the crib, she started to worry for them. After the little candy and glutinous rice were washed, Su Yuha took turns hugging the siblings and was heartbroken. Back in the ward, Gu Xingqian was massaging Lin Kuei's feet to promote blood circulation. "Auntie, you're back. Were the babies good during the bath?" Su Yuha thought about the situation when the babies were bathing, which was like bathing piglets, and just nodded lightly, saying that the babies were very good. She put the babies next to Lin Kuei. Su Yuha said to Gu Xingqian, "Xiaochun, later you go out and buy a stroller, and buy a can of milk powder as well. The stroller should preferably be a double one, so that it is convenient to push the two babies together. There should be a baby shop near the Women's Healthcare Hospital, go there and buy it." Just now, Su Yuha checked the baby supplies in the ward. Everything else was there, except for the milk powder and stroller. That's why she asked Gu Xingqian to go out and buy them. Su Yuha wanted to find a reason to transfer some money to Gu Xingqian. Gu Xingqian is now in his senior year. Although he usually works part-time, he just bought a car and doesn't have much savings left. Now that there are two babies, the daily expenses are quite high. Okay. Gu Xingqian nodded. The stroller they are using now belongs to the hospital. My sister-in-law is right, it's better to buy a stroller that's all your own. Go to the baby store, and if you don't know what to ask the staff, just let them recommend something that's good and of good quality. Okay, don't worry, sister-in-law, I know what to do. If he can't even do this small thing right, how can he be a good father to the babies? Gu Xingqian and Lin Kuei finished their conversation and then left the house. As soon as he left, Su Yuha followed him out the door. Chapter 12, What do you think of Gu Xingqian? As soon as Gu Xingqian had left the house, Su Yuha followed him out. What's wrong, Auntie? Gu Xingqian asked curiously, turning his head. Nothing. Just a little money transfer from your auntie. You haven't graduated yet and are not officially working, and now you have two babies. You definitely won't have enough money. Gu Xingqian tried to get out of it, saying, Auntie, you don't need to. I have money now, I've saved a lot, and I can raise the babies without any problems, so you don't need to worry. You brat, what are you trying to be tough for? I know exactly how your finances are doing. Seeing that Gu Xingqian was trying to get out of it, Su Yuha quickly glared at him and took out her phone to directly transfer 30,000 yuan to him via WeChat. Take it when your auntie tells you to, even though our family doesn't have much money, but now we have 2 children and 1 adult, so no matter what, we can't treat them badly. Your uncle and I don't earn much, but we still have some savings, so you can use this money first. Kuei is a good girl, pretty and kind-hearted. If my sister saw her, she would definitely like her. So, when she is discharged from the hospital, find an opportunity to go with her to get the certificate. The children have already been born, give them a complete family. Su Yuhi has been very concerned about Gu Xingqian's affairs since he was a child. Listening to her sister-in-law's earnest words, Gu Xingqian said, Sister-in-law, I have no problem with getting married, but it depends on Kuei. If she doesn't want to and insists on raising the babies on her own, there's nothing I can do even if it's not easy to get married. Such a beautiful woman has given birth to 2 lovely babies. Gu Xingqian is of course happy if he can marry the other person and start a family. However, it also depends on the other person's wishes. It's not just him who can make the decision. Su Yuha thought for a moment and whispered, Wait a minute, your sister-in-law will help you find out what Kuei thinks. Okay, sister-in-law, I'll go first. Okay, be careful on the way. After watching her nephews leave, Su Yuha turned around and walked into the hospital room. This child, when something like this happens, I don't know what to do, so I, as his sister-in-law, will help him a little. In the hospital room. Lin Kuei carefully leaned against the bed, holding the baby in her arms and cooing softly to lull them to sleep. Newborn babies mostly sleep. They don't stay awake for long. As they grow up, the amount of time they sleep gradually decreases. After the babies fall asleep, Su Yuha puts them back in the crib. After everything is done, Su Yuha sits in the chair next to the bed. Looking at Lin Kuei, she asks, Kuei, what do you think of my nephew Gu Xingqian? That is, what impression does he give you? Hearing Su Yuha's words, Lin Kuei was taken aback and didn't understand why she suddenly asked that. After a moment of hesitation, she said, Auntie, I think Gu Xingqian is quite a nice person. I can tell that he genuinely likes the babies. Although I haven't spent much time with him, from the way he's behaved during this time, I think he's a good person. He takes care of me and is very gentle with the babies. You can't lie about the expression on a person's face. So far, Gu Xingchen has given her a very comfortable feeling. Some people, their every move, always give people a feeling of being embraced by spring breeze. And Gu Xingchen is exactly this type of person. Xiaochen, since he was young, has been living with me without his parents. Although he doesn't usually say much, he is a very nice person, filial and caring. He is smart and not bad-looking. You see, now that you have a baby, when you are discharged from the hospital, shouldn't you go and get the certificate so that you can register your baby? Just like Lin Kowei and Gu Xingchen didn't have much contact. Su Yuhua and Lin Kowei also had very little contact. But even in that short time, Su Yuhua could feel that Lin Kowei was a kind person. In her heart, she had already decided that Lin Kowei was her niece's daughter-in-law. If the other party is unwilling to get a certificate with Gu Xingchen, she will have to find a way to let her stay with Gu Xingchen. There are not many suitable women these days, so once you meet one, you mustn't let her go. Of course. If Lin Kowei really doesn't want to, she can't force her to. Get married and register the babies. Let them have a complete family. Raise them together in the future. Gu Xingchen had told him about this not long ago. But at the time, she was very relaxed and didn't know how to respond. Now, as she looked at the two babies sleeping soundly in their cribs, Lin Kowei had a million thoughts racing through her mind. Yes, the babies also need a complete family. Now that her sister-in-law Gu Xingchen has mentioned this to her, Lin Kowei has different thoughts in her heart for the sake of the baby's future. Well, Auntie, what does Gu Xingchen think? What else could he think? He's married to such a beautiful wife as you, and I guess he can't stop smiling even in the middle of the night. Actually, I asked Chen about his plans. He definitely wants to get married, he's just worried that you won't say yes. So I, as your sister-in-law and your mother, came to ask you what you think. Why don't you give me an answer, and when Chen gets back, I'll tell him. Auntie, I need a few days to think about it. Okay, let me know when you've made up your mind. Su Yuhua saw that Lin Kowei was wavering, but she couldn't push too hard. On the other side, as Gu Xingchen entered the baby store, a female shop assistant with a pretty face and fair skin smiled and said, "Welcome, handsome. I wonder what you need." Gu Xingchen was about 1.8 meters tall, good-looking, slender, and elegant. His eyes seemed to hide a star, mysterious and profound. He was a handsome young man. The female shop assistant had never seen such a handsome young man before. She was curious as to why such a young man was shopping in a baby and maternity store. Was he buying clothes or milk powder for a relative or friend's child? People with good looks always get a favorable impression from others. So when Gu Xingchen walked into the store, the female shop assistant took the initiative to smile and welcome him. Gu Xingchen looked around the store, and finally his gaze fell on her. "Excuse me, do you have a double stroller here? I'm planning to buy a double stroller for my babies, and I want a good one." The saleswoman thought she heard wrong. "Young man, you said you came to buy a stroller for your baby. You got married and have a baby?" Gu Xingchen was stunned. He did have a baby, but as for getting married, it was still uncertain. He gave a vague laugh and nodded. The saleswoman saw this and secretly felt a bit sorry for him. Such a handsome young man had unexpectedly married young. The other person still wanted to buy a double stroller. Could it be that the baby in the video was a twin? P.S. The signing process has been completed. The author is new to Tomato, but has some creative experience, and will update regularly in the future. This book is about a dad, everyday life, warmth, and romantic dog food. I don't know if there are any readers of this genre on Tomato, but if you like to read exciting, fast-paced stories, please go read other wonderful books. I've heard that data for new books is very important. If there are any big readers who like it, I hope you can give me some data. If you don't like it, please be kind enough to ignore it. The young author here would like to thank all the readers. In the future, please give me your advice. I love you all. Chapter 13, Buying a Stroller for Your Baby Rewards You with a Talent for Massage. Gu Xingchen couldn't stop smiling at the handsome face of the shop assistant, who nodded with a broad smile. Yes, twins, or even more, triplets. I'm going to be a father. Yes. The handsome young man's smile lit up his whole face. The female shop assistant secretly surveyed the side profile of Gu Xingchen, and her eyes became heart-shaped. At that moment, she even thought about where she would be buried with Gu Xingchen. looking at her own so unworthy employee. The owner of the nearby baby shop came over and took over the reception of Gu Xingchen in his place. Handsome guy, I still have 2 double ones in my store. Because there are so few people giving birth to twins, they haven't sold out yet. I'll give you a discount if you want. The shop owner told Gu Xingchen this after sending away the shop assistant who couldn't keep her legs together. It was true as she said, twins were very rare, and this stroller was very difficult to sell. If we wait any longer for a new model to come out, I'm afraid we'll end up with a dud on our hands and lose money. This is the latest split double stroller this year. You can push 2 babies in it together or separately, so it's very convenient for parents to take 1 baby with each of them. Come and feel for yourself, the texture and materials are high grade, all imported. The canopy has 6 positions, the sleeping basket is 90 centimeters long, and the canopy is waterproof down fabric. Come and look, we also have a crotch guard and safety belt. The carry cot can be worn facing either the parent or the baby, facing the world. This is the latest model of the year, with guaranteed quality. Gu Xingchen listens while feeling the stroller. Without saying a word, he asks, how much is this one? Of the 2 double strollers, he has his eye on the one the proprietress has been describing. Handsome guy, I'll sell it to you at a loss, my final offer, 1,600 yuan. 1,600 yuan, that's too expensive, boss. Oh my, young man, this is still expensive? This is an imported brand. If you check the same brand on Taobao, they sell for more than 1,700 yuan. I've given you a discount of more than 100 yuan. Really? Gu Xingchen googled the same double stroller and found that the price was really more than 100 yuan higher than here. Although Gu Xingchen was tempted, but his face remained expressionless. He believed that the price was 1,600 yuan. The shop owner must still be able to make a profit. Shop owner, you should be able to tell that I'm still a university student and don't have a lot of money. Now I have to support 2 babies and their mother, so the pressure is high. Can you give me a discount? Nowadays, twins are rare, so it's hard to sell them. If you wait a little longer, they won't sell, and when the new models come out, the price will come down, and the old models will be even harder to sell. The shop owner was about to shake her head. But this was the first time she had seen a young man with such a high appearance value bargaining with her. Although she didn't want to lower the price in her heart, her body was honest in the face of this handsome and imposing handsome face. Okay, you're a young father, it's not easy. 1,500 yuan, take it or leave it. Gu Xingchen spoke again, 1,400 yuan, okay? What? Young man, I can't even get 1,400 yuan for the goods. Just a fixed price of 1,400 yuan, I'll transfer the money to you now. After a long negotiation, the shop owner finally agreed to a price of 1,400 yuan, and Gu Xingchen happily pushed the cart back. Before leaving, he also bought 2 cans of milk powder in the store. This was Gu Xingchen's first time buying milk powder, and he was shocked by the price. He bought 2 cans of being made milk powder, which cost more than 2,000 yuan. Of course, there were also cheaper ones that cost a few hundred yuan a can. But Gu Xingchen wanted the best for his babies. He roughly calculated that 1 can of formula is enough for 2 babies to drink for more than a week. With a can of formula costing more than 1,000 yuan, just the formula alone would cost thousands of yuan a month. And that's not even counting other expenses. No wonder people say babies are gold guzzlers. At that moment, he deeply understood. Gu Xingchen was instantly overwhelmed with pressure. Handsome guy, thank you for trusting our baby store with your spending. Well, here is a coupon for our store. If you come back next time and spend more than 4,000 yuan, you will get an additional 20% discount. With a big smile, the proprietress handed the coupon to Gu Xingchen. Although he could not use the discount for now, he still chose to take it. Leaving the baby store, Gu Xingchen carried the milk powder in one hand and pushed the stroller in the other towards the hospital. The stroller was getting more and more like it, and he could feel its good quality. It also had a lot of functions, which would save a lot of trouble when going out in the future. Ding dong, congratulations to the owner for buying their babies their first stroller in life, and a reward of 3,000 cash primary massage talent. Primary massage talent, what is that? Gu Xingchen was already used to the existence of the system, but he was puzzled by this new talent and immediately asked the system telepathically. Ding dong, the primary massage talent allows the owner to instantly become a primary massage technician. Oh, so it's for giving massages. And it's still a primary one. It seems there's still room for improvement. In an instant, with the help of the system, Gu Xingchen felt that he had changed. Some simple massage techniques and acupressure point identification diagrams appeared in his mind. Feeling the changes in her body, Gu Xingchen sighed with emotion. The system is truly amazing. When she returned to the ward, more than 40 minutes had passed. Oh, what a beautiful stroller! The babies will have a stroller. Back in the room, Su Yuha was overjoyed at the sight of such a beautiful stroller. After checking the quality, she was even more satisfied. It just so happened that the babies were going to get their vaccinations later, so let's go in the new stroller. Newborns need to be vaccinated against tuberculosis and hepatitis B on their first day. The nurse just reminded them, and Gu Xingchen will fill out the vaccination form when he gets back. Gu Xingchen and Lin Kowei are embarrassed. To vaccinate the babies, they need a birth certificate, a birth permit, a household register, and their marriage certificate. But they don't have any of those except for their respective household registers. Gu Xingchen is flustered. Lin Kowei suddenly came to the hospital today because she was premature, and she didn't have her household register with her. Gu Xingchen asked the doctor, "At the moment, we have thought of the babies' names, but we don't have any other documents. Can we give them the vaccinations first and then get the documents later?" "Well, that's fine. Just remember to get the documents as soon as possible." The story of getting a certificate had already been heard. I feel sorry for the twins, with such an irresponsible father. Not only does he not want to acknowledge the children, but now he doesn't have any documents for the vaccinations. Poor babies, if only they were my grandchildren. The doctor has always dreamed of having twins. But when he saw Gu Xingchen bringing the twins out in a brand new stroller, he wondered where she had got such a beautiful stroller. Chapter 14, the babies cried when they were given their injections, and Niu Mengmeng, "Don't come any closer." The doctor was surprised. He could not believe that someone who did not want to admit their own children would spend money on such a beautiful stroller. The doctor knew his stuff. He could tell at a glance that the stroller cost at least more than 1,000 yuan. He was a university student, but he was willing to spend so much money all at once. After all, he was worried about his two twins. As the doctor wrote the certificate, he spoke earnestly to the young man. "Young man, your partner is so beautiful, and she has given birth to the twins that everyone wants. You must treat them well. Don't let them down. These are blessings from heaven. The mother risked her life to give birth to your children. I hope you won't let her down and that you will live a good life together in the future." Gu Xingchen nodded eagerly next to her. Soon the temporary certificate was ready. "Okay, you can get the vaccination now. You can just add the materials later." Gu Xingchen thanked the doctor. She pushed the stroller towards the injection department. The corridor lights were bright on the way, and the two little ones could already open their eyes. Occasionally they would open their eyes and then close them again. Gu Xingchen was afraid that the lights were too strong and would be bad for the baby's eyes, so she quickly pulled the gauze cover over the stroller to block out the light. Gu Xingchen leaned over to the stroller and said softly, "Babies, that one up there is a lamp, and the light is too bright. Daddy is going to cover them up for you. This is called protecting your eyes, don't you know, my little darlings? We're going to get the injection now. After the injection, you can grow tall and strong." Gu Xingchen's timing was perfect. There weren't many people in the injection department, so they arrived just in time to get their injections. The nurse quickly entered the babies' names into the computer. "Wow, who came up with the names Nanfeng and Zi? They're so poetic." The nurse, whether the babies could understand or not, gently praised them for having beautiful names. "Oh, the twins, so cute. Here, this father, hold the baby over here, with your arm exposed." Gu Xingchen gently picked up the little Candy. Because the little guy was just born and was so soft, he was extra careful. The little Candy was dazed as she was held in her father's arms, her little hands moving around, but after finding a comfortable position, the little guy closed her eyes and prepared to sleep. The little guy had no idea what she was about to face. Another nurse, with a tiny needle, came to little Candy and skillfully stuck it into her delicate arm. The next second, little Candy winced in pain, her little face wrinkled into a bun, and she whimpered and cried in Gu Xingchen's arms. Gu Xingchen's heart ached, and he quickly soothed her. Oh, little baby, don't cry, Daddy is here, Daddy is by your side, Daddy will always protect you." The nurse looked at Gu Xingchen with a favorable impression. It was rare to find a father who was really gentle and could comfort his baby. The little nurse also coaxed little Candy, saying, "Be strong, my dear. It's just a shot, and it won't hurt at all. Gu Xingqian's heart ached to hear that she still had to get a shot. The nurse continued to give instructions, saying to Gu Xingqian, "Come on, lift up the baby's other arm." And another shot went in. Little Candy cried and cried, her tears streaming down. Although the little one didn't know what was going on, she could feel the pain. Gu Xingqian patted her little bottom gently and coaxed her, "No more shots, little Candy, it's over this time, and after the shot you'll grow taller." Little Candy sniffled, tears in the corners of her eyes. Before long, she fell asleep in Gu Xingqian's arms. Next, it was our little glutinous Rice's turn. Little glutinous Rice is a boy, and after 2 shots, he cried so loudly that his voice was a few decibels louder than his sister's. Don't look at little glutinous Rice as a baby boy. His voice is louder than his sister's. Gu Xingqian coaxed little Bao like he did to Bao, and the little guy gradually stopped sobbing and fell asleep in his father's arms. After the vaccination was completed, the nurse handed the baby's vaccination books to him and casually instructed him. The baby's vaccination booklet should be kept carefully, as it will be needed when they go to kindergarten and primary school. The vaccination booklet also has the time for various vaccinations, so just follow the schedule. Also, this time the baby's first injections were the BCG and hepatitis B vaccines, so remember not to let them get wet for 24 hours after the injections. Lin Kuei let out a sigh of relief when she saw the babies safely back in their room. Su Yuha had wanted to hold the babies, but seeing that the little ones were sleeping soundly, she had to give up. After settling the little ones down, Su Yuha looked at the sky and said to Gu Xingqian, "It's getting late, and Kuei had a rush with the baby today, and she hasn't brought her daily necessities yet. Xiaochen, please go to Kuei's rental house." Kuei said that she had packed all the things she needed for the hospital in the rental house, and she could just go to the master bedroom and take them. No problem. Gu Xingqian knew that Lin Kuei had prepared for her expected delivery date and had packed the main things in advance. What she didn't expect was that the baby was suddenly premature and she didn't have time to get anything. Now she was in the hospital and she didn't have any daily necessities. Lin Kuei looked at him with apologetic eyes and said, "Thank you for your trouble." Gu Xingqian smiled brightly and said, "No trouble, I should do it." The community where Lin Kuei lived was not unfamiliar to Gu Xingqian. It was the Rose community where he had picked up a client in the morning. Inside the Rose community, Gu Xingqian found a place to park. He walked towards the 9-story residential building. What he didn't expect was that as soon as he entered the community garden, Gu Xingqian saw a familiar figure. Niu Mengmeng, the one who had farted in his car this morning. At this time, Niu Mengmeng also saw Gu Xingqian. The other party was stunned at first. Then her face turned red as she recognized Gu Xingqian as the Didi driver who had taken her home today, and she ran away like a thief. Thinking about what happened during the day, Niu Mengmeng felt an immense sense of shame. She had always been a goddess in the eyes of others, but now she had let out a fart in front of a stranger. And what a loud one it was, too. The embarrassment and shame made her want to crawl into a crack in the ground every time she thought about it. Gu Xingqian saw Niu Mengmeng again and found her flustered retreating figure amusing. It was as if her mouth had been blessed, because she casually said, "You're right. Your baby was born today." When Gu Xingqian arrived at the bottom of Building 9 and was about to swipe her card, Niu Mengmeng was also standing in the doorway, rummaging in her bag to find her access card. When she saw Gu Xingqian walking over, Niu Mengmeng was startled. She thought the other person was a pervert, stalking her because of what happened in the car earlier. "I'm telling you, there are surveillance cameras everywhere. I'm not afraid of you. You, don't do anything crazy." Gu Xingqian looked at her speechlessly. "Are you okay, little sister?" Chapter 15, Living Together, I'm Willing. Seeing Gu Xingqian walking towards her, Niu Mengmeng was terrified and had retreated to the corner. "What do you want?" "I'm telling you, there are surveillance cameras everywhere, there are security guards, broad daylight." Niu Mengmeng was not the first time she had encountered a lecherous man harassing her. But it was the first time she had encountered someone who followed her home. Although Gu Xingqian is very handsome, he is just a driver for Didi, and Niu Mengmeng has already decided in her heart that Gu Xingqian is a pervert who is stalking her. Gu Xingqian puts his hand on his forehead. What kind of person is this? Compared to her, Lin Kuei, the other party is far from good enough. Ding! Gu Xingqian takes out the door card and swipes it to enter the door. The security system in Rose community is very thorough, and you need to swipe your card whether you are downstairs or entering the elevator. Gu Xingqian only hears a ding sound, and he opens the door and walks into building 9. The glass door closes behind him. Niu Mengmeng saw Gu Xingqian close the door and walk towards the elevator, and confusion flashed across her face. He actually has an access card for here, does that mean he also lives here? Thinking of this, embarrassment flashed across her face, and she felt that she might have been thinking too much. Ding! The elevator opened. Lin Kowei lived in a small apartment with 2 bedrooms and a living room. The room was beautifully decorated, and it exuded warmth everywhere. Lin Kowei had put all the packed things in the master bedroom. Gu Xingqian opened the door and went in. There was a faint fragrance in the room, which smelled very nice. I wonder what brand of perfume it is. Gu Xingqian checked the things she needed to bring. These are the diapers for the baby, size S, M, L, XL, so many different sizes. These are the pajamas, and what is this, leggings? There's even this color, it's really nice. Gu Xingqian finished packing and put everything back in the car, heading for the hospital. How was it, did you bring all of Kowei's things? Just entering the ward, her sister-in-law Su Yua sat up. At this time, Lin Kowei had already fallen into a daze and fallen asleep. During the time Gu Xingqian was out, the mother in the next bed had already moved out, reportedly to a private room. Now the ward was just occupied by their family. After putting Lin Kowei's things away, Su Yuho whispered, Xiaochen, Kowei and the baby are asleep. You're renting a place outside the hospital now, right? Give me the key, I'll go there tonight and come back later, around 10 o'clock, to bring you some food. Gu Xingqian took out the key and gave it to her. Auntie, I don't have much food at my place, but there's a food market downstairs, so you can buy whatever you want there. It took about 20 minutes to get from the hospital to where he was staying. It was getting dark. Gu Xingqian said, Auntie, why don't I drive back and cook, that way it'll be faster, and you can go back later. Do you think your cooking is as good as mine? I'd better go back, and you stay here and keep a close eye on Kowei and the babies. You have to stay alert, keep an eye on the babies, don't let anyone sneak in and steal them. Su Yuhai gave him all sorts of instructions. When it came to keeping an eye on the babies, her tone was even more serious. Recently, she has seen a lot of news about child stealing on TV, so she wants Gu Xingqian to pay attention to the safety of the children, even in the hospital. Gu Xingqian smiles, now, what era is this? Where are there still baby thieves? But don't worry, I will take good care of the babies. Good, when Kowei wakes up, take good care of her. Su Yuai is not here to stay the night, mainly because she wants them to develop a closer relationship. Lin Kowei has not yet made up his mind to marry his nephew, so in order to successfully bring them together, they naturally need to be given the opportunity to be alone. That is why Su Yua decided to go to Gu Xingqian's place for the night, and later prepared dinner for her nephew and the baby's mother. After Su Yua returned home, it was 9:30 p.m. Gu Xingqian sat by the bedside and saw Lin Kowei wake up. However, at this time, she frowned as if she was in pain. Gu Xingqian asked with concern, what's wrong? Are you uncomfortable? Lin Kowei was embarrassed. Well, my legs are numb. She had just had a cesarean section and was unable to move around easily. Numbness in the legs was something she could not solve on her own. Gu Xingqian suddenly understood. Numbness in the legs? Here, let me help you massage it. He remembered his innate talent for massage, and thought that now was the perfect time to put it to use. Lin Kowei had just undergone surgery and had been lying in bed for a long time, so giving her a massage would improve her circulation. With that, Gu Xingqian activated his innate talent for massage, lifted the quilt, and began to press with just the right amount of force. Gu Xingqian could smell a faint fragrance again, the same as in Lin Kowei's room. He was sure it was coming from Lin Kowei. He wasn't sure if it was the fragrance of perfume or the scent of her body. He was massaging her legs. Is he massaging himself? Lin Kowei's face flushed involuntarily. She had wanted to refuse. A rub would be fine, no need for pressing. But seeing Gu Xingqian's serious and focused expression, she swallowed the words on the tip of her tongue. And in the future, if they really were together for the sake of the baby, physical contact would always be unavoidable. Lin Kowei took a deep breath and said slowly, thank you. What are you thanking me for? Taking care of the baby is what I should be doing. Gu Xingqian gave a bright smile. Then she placed her hands on the acupressure points on her legs and slowly began to massage them with firm fingers. She had to admit that the talent she had received as a system reward was very useful. Although it was a basic talent, it was very effective. Lin Kuei's numbness in her legs slowly disappeared, and what followed was a feeling of comfort and tingling. After a while, Lin Kuei's face turned red as she spoke in a small, mosquito-like voice. That, Gu Xingqian, my legs are not numb anymore, they've already recovered. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Gu Xingqian heard her words, came back to her senses, withdrew her massage talent, and covered her up again. Gu Xingqian sat back in the chair, glanced at Lin Kuei, hesitated for a moment, and then decided to speak up. Well, I plan to rent a bigger house after you are discharged from the hospital, and then pick you and the baby up there. I can take care of you during your postpartum period, and I can also take better care of the babies. Huh? You want to live together? Lin Kuei's cheeks flushed with an unidentifiable blush. Living together is considered cohabitation. She had never been in a relationship before, and naturally had never cohabited with anyone. Hearing that they were going to live together, Lin Kuei was a little uncomfortable. But when she tried to refuse, she remembered what Su Yue had said in the afternoon. The babies are still so young, they need a complete family and the care of their father. Xiaochen wants to get married and start a family with you, and raise the babies together. Gu Xingqian observed her carefully. He knew that Lin Kuei was torn, so after a moment's thought, he continued, if you don't want to, I can rent 2 apartments. You and the baby can live in one, and I'll live next door. That way, even though we won't live together, I can still take care of you and the baby. No, don't rent 2 apartments, it's a waste of money, we can just live together. Chapter 16 Mom, forget that she has already given birth. Gu Xingqian's eyes widened. He didn't expect Lin Kuei to be willing to live with him. Fearing that he might misunderstand, Lin Kuei quickly explained, don't get me wrong, I just don't think you need to waste money. Besides, you are the father of the babies, and living together will allow you to take better care of them. Gu Xingqian's face lit up with joy. As long as Lin Kuei agrees to live together, that's fine. That's great, I'll have the Rocket Gang find a suitable house in the next few days, and we'll move in as soon as you're discharged from the hospital. Lin Kuei's current place is nice, but it's just a 2-bedroom apartment, which is a bit small for them. In case they have visitors in the future, they won't have a place to stay. Gu Xingqian was overjoyed, and smiled at Lin Kuei. During these few days in the hospital, rest well. If you need anything, just let me know, and tell me what you want to eat and drink, I'll buy it for you. Although I may not be able to do a good job, I will do my best to take care of you and the babies. Okay. Lin Kuei looked at him blankly and nodded. Ding dong, congratulations to the owner for taking the babies for vaccinations, and you will be rewarded with 2,000 yuan in cash. Just as the two of them were about to confirm that they would take care of the babies together, the system's voice rang in Gu Xingqian's head. Gu Xingqian was taken aback. Hey, is there a reward for accompanying the baby for vaccinations? But it's been so long since I came back, and it's only been twice. Gu Xingqian wondered if there was a delay in her system. It seemed like she heard Gu Xingqian's doubts. System. Squinting eyes face, theta. At night, 10:30. Su Yue came to the kitchen again with a thermos. Before leaving, she reminded Gu Xingqian to feed Lin Kuei while it was still hot. It wouldn't taste as good if it cooled down. Gu Xingqian laughed and said, leave it to me. Su Yue is a very good cook. The meals she makes are nutritious meals for postpartum women, which are not only nutritious but also taste particularly delicious. Over here, Lin Kuei had just finished eating, and the baby in the crib began to coo. After checking, neither of the siblings had pooped, so they must be hungry. Lin Kuei unbuttoned her shirt and quickly asked Gu Xingqian to hold the babies over to her. The little ones were starving. They immediately started to suckle noisily when they smelled the milk. Lin Kuei lovingly looked at her babies, radiating the light of motherhood. After the babies had eaten their fill, Gu Xingqian remembered the breast pads he had brought from Lin Kuei's house. Although he didn't know how to use them, Gu Xingqian would search online. After watching the tutorial and helping Lin Kuei apply the pads, Gu Xingqian saw that Lin Kuei's face was already like a ripe red apple, with shyness written all over her face. Although what happened today made Lin Kuei feel that she had no image in front of Gu Xingqian at all. But watching him put the breast milk pads on herself, she still felt shy. Image and shyness are not the same thing. Gu Xingqian looked at her coy and shy appearance and secretly thought that the baby's mother was really cute when she was shy. Before going to bed, Lin Kuei's obstetrician and gynecologist came back to examine her again. He said that Lin Kuei was in good condition and that she could come in the morning to pick up the pain relief pump and the catheter. Before leaving, the doctor reminded Gu Xingchen to lock the door at night, not to sleep too deeply, and to be vigilant, as the baby might wake up in the middle of the night and need to be taken care of in time. Gu Xingchen opened the companion bed in the ward, spread a blanket on it, put one hand on the baby's crib, and fell asleep in a daze. Today had been eventful, and Gu Xingchen was already feeling tired. Perhaps it was because she had slept for so long during the day, or maybe she was just worried. Lin Kuei, on the other hand, couldn't sleep. She looked at the sleeping Gu Xingchen and the baby and fell into thought. She didn't know how long it was before she fell into a drowsy sleep. Gu Xingchen was woken up by the nurse the next day. She asked him if he knew where he was and if he remembered that he had had 2 babies the day before. Gu Xingchen scratched his head, smiled awkwardly and said, "Thank you, nurse, I'm a first-time father and forgot that I had babies. I told you I fell asleep, and I vaguely heard the babies crying." The nurse couldn't help laughing at the behavior of this new father. And the new mother also made her laugh. She seemed to have forgotten that she had given birth yesterday, and the first thing she did when she woke up was to touch her stomach. She was shocked when she realized that her stomach was gone. It wasn't until she saw the 2 babies in the crib that she remembered. Oh, she was a mother now. She woke up from her nap and almost forgot that the babies had already been born. The nurse observed the babies and asked Gu Xingchen to change their diapers before bringing them to their mother for breastfeeding. She also told him that the body temperature of new mothers is generally high and they tend to sweat easily, so he must pay attention to this and not set the air conditioning in the room too low. With yesterday's experience, the new parents are beginning to feel more at ease, whether they are changing the baby's diapers or breastfeeding them. The babies are eating well under the careful care of the 2 of them. After the 2 little ones finish eating, they go back to sleep. At the moment, they spend almost the whole day sleeping. After the busy morning, Gu Xingchen received a call from his sister-in-law. She was worried that he hadn't woken up, so she called to wake him up. Su Yuha was buying food at the market to prepare a meal for her niece-in-law. Half an hour later, Lin Kuei's attending physician, Dr. Pei, came to the ward with a nurse to check on her condition. "How is the discharge? Is it heavy?" "Not very heavy, very little." "How is her recovery? Can she move her legs?" "She can bend them and do some simple activities." "And the babies? Is breastfeeding going well, and are they pooping and peeing normally?" "Everything is fine, there are no major problems." The 2 of them engaged in a question and answer session, while the nurse next to them jotted something down in a notebook. Dr. Pei nodded and said gently, "I'll arrange for a doctor to come and remove the pain pump from you in a moment." After confirming that Lin Kuei was in good condition, Dr. Pei and the nurse continued to other wards for inspections. If it is a natural birth, the mother can walk on the ground that day and be discharged from the hospital soon. Lin Kuei couldn't help envying those mothers who had given birth naturally. In the past, she had done a lot of yoga at home to ensure that she could give birth naturally in the future. However, the 2 babies in her tummy didn't agree, and they came out as soon as they were ready, completely not following the rhythm she had planned. The doctor arranged by Dr. Pei came to help Lin Kuei remove the analgesic pump and clean the gauze from her wound. Because she insisted on exercising before giving birth, Lin Kuei's physical fitness was very good. After the analgesic pump was removed, she did not feel much pain. Although it still hurt a little, it was negligible, and she could endure it with a frown. Gu Xingchen brought Lin Kuei a new pajama and a thin blanket to change into. Since there was so much sweat and discharge on the one in her bed, she didn't need to use it all the time. Chapter 17. No way, how could the school flower be with him? Gu Xingchen closed the door and drew the curtains to change Lin Kuei into clean pajamas. Just as he was about to change the thin blanket, Lin Kuei tightly grabbed the quilt and wouldn't let him change it. Gu Xingchen noticed that her ears were flushed at this time. "No need for that for now. Let Auntie Sue come and change it later." Gu Xingchen said seriously, "Your auntie isn't sure when she'll be here, so I'll change you now, otherwise I'm afraid it'll be too uncomfortable for you." Lin Kuei bit her lip and shook her head. "Really, it's fine, it's not uncomfortable." Gu Xingchen looked at her with concerned eyes. "I've already changed you with the medical pad, and I've seen everything, so you don't need to be shy." Lin Kuei covered her face. Indeed, she no longer had any image to speak of in front of Gu Xingchen. However, she had her own stubbornness, and this time she insisted that she must wait for Su Yuha to come and change it for her. After all, even if she had no image left, she didn't want to experience that kind of embarrassing situation again. Gu Xingchen saw that she was so persistent, so she didn't say anything. There was a matching bathroom in the ward, so Gu Xingchen took the clothes she had changed and washed them. Gu Xingchen put them in the basin, poured in laundry detergent and slowly rubbed them. Bubbles rose in the water. Wow, there's a faint fragrance, like the smell of jasmine, it's so nice. After washing, Gu Xingchen took the clothes to the balcony to dry them. Meanwhile, Su Yuha returned to the ward with the breakfast she had prepared. She carefully changed the thin blanket for Lin Kuei as soon as possible. Then she brought a basin of hot water over and soaked a towel to wipe Lin Kuei's body. Looking at Lin Kuei's fair and graceful figure, Su Yuha thought to herself, wow, her skin is so white and tender, and her figure is amazing. Xiaochen is so lucky. Lin Kuei's painkiller pump has been removed, and the urinary catheter has been removed. After a night of recovery, today Lin Kuei is already able to try getting out of bed and moving around. Here, eat something. Auntie made you breakfast specially. Eat until you've replenished your energy before getting out of bed and moving around. Su Yuha fed Lin Kuei spoonful by spoonful, as if she were feeding her daughter. Su Yuha looked at Lin Kuei's appearance and couldn't help but reminisce about when she gave birth to her second child. I was older when I gave birth to my cousin Xiaochen, my body was not in good shape, and I couldn't keep up with the nutrition during the month after giving birth, so I caught a disease. Now, you've given birth to 2 babies at once, and it was a cesarean section, which depleted a lot of your energy. You need to take good care of your body. Take good care of your body, and leave the rest to Chen and me. Lin Kuei felt Su Yuha's concern, and her nose became a little bit sore. This is the feeling of being cared for. After dinner, Su Yuha asked Gu Xingchen to come over and give Lin Kuei a massage to promote blood circulation. At this time, the doctor originally wanted to come over and remind Lin Kuei to get out of bed and move around appropriately today. However, as soon as he came in, he saw Gu Xingchen giving Lin Kuei a massage. He smiled and nodded, saying that he was doing a good job. He reminded her to get out of bed and exercise appropriately today, not to be afraid, and that this was a hospital, so if anything unexpected happened, they would be there to help. Appropriate exercise would help her recover better. When they are in the office, they will gossip about the patients. Gu Xingchen is so handsome, and coupled with the fact that he didn't want to admit the baby yesterday, the doctors and nurses in the office all think that he is most likely a scumbag. But now they come to see for themselves, and it seems that he takes care of his wife very well. They can see the tenderness in his gaze when he looks at her, and he seems very responsible. I heard that he lost his parents when he was young, and he even asked his sister-in-law to come and take care of his wife and the babies. After massaging Lin Kuei, Gu Xingchen planned to let her rest for a while. After she has rested, he will help her get out of bed and move around. During this time, Gu Xingchen told Su Yuha that Lin Kuei had agreed to live with him after she is discharged from the hospital, and let him take care of the babies. Really? Not bad, Chen, do your best, and try to get Kuei to agree to get a divorce with you as soon as possible, so that you can give the babies a complete family. Su Yuha was very surprised and kept telling him to do a good job. If he screws up and lets such a pretty niece-in-law get away, I won't let him off the hook. I know, Auntie, I'll do my best. Gu Xingchen nodded seriously. In the meantime, he thought about renting a place. A cesarean section usually means a 1-week hospital stay. Finding a suitable place will take some time, so he could start looking now. However, he and Su Yuha needed to stay at the hospital to take care of Lin Kuei and the others, so they could only ask for help. Gu Xingchen's first thought was his good friend, Rocket Head. However, just as Gu Xingchen took out his phone to open QQ and prepare to contact Rocket Head, he noticed that all the chat groups had exploded, and the group messages at the top were all at him. Gu Xingchen was puzzled and clicked in to take a look. Holy cow, they were all gossip about him and the school beauty Lin Kuei. The two people, who had never interacted before, had actually gotten a baby together. How was that possible? I don't know who spread the gossip to get attention. But I have to say, it's really possible. The reason is that I haven't seen Lin Kuei on campus for about 10 months. And having a baby is not something that happens very often, so more and more people at school are asking for confirmation of the authenticity of this information. In their school, except for his best friend Rocket Head, even the other 2 roommates don't believe this news is true. That's absolutely impossible. As roommates, they haven't seen any signs that the other guy was dating the school beauty queen. Although Gu Xingchen has now moved out of the dorms. It hasn't been long since she moved out, so how could she have a baby with the school beauty queen? However, even so, there are still quite a few loyal fans of the school beauty queen who want to verify whether she really has a baby and where she is now. Gu Xingchen ignored the group messages asking for verification and called Rocket Head on voicemail. At that moment, in the dormitory, Rocket Head was sitting with his two roommates having breakfast. The four of them in the dormitory, the other two having better financial conditions at home, usually like to play games together. Gu Xingchen and Rocket Head communicate more often, so their relationship is the closest. Seeing Rocket Head answer Gu Xingchen's voice call, the other two roommates, Taizhu and Huzi, came over and asked with a full face of curiosity. Rocket Head? Tell us, Brother Chen, are you really with Lin Kuwei now? I'll give my nieces and nephews a red envelope right away. Yeah, tell us if it's true. I'll give a red envelope right away, 5,000 yuan, I swear, I swear. Are you really with Lin Kuwei? Oh, Brother Chen, say something, you're killing me, the gossip about you two at school is crazy. Chapter 18, Hu Zi shed a tear of envy. Gu Xingchen was planning to buy a 3-bedroom, 2-living-room apartment, preferably in a new residential area. New residential areas had a good environment, good greenery, good security facilities, and it was safe to live there. The Rose residential area where Lin Kuwei lives now had a pretty good environment. But there was no way around it, a 2-bedroom, 1-living-room apartment was too small for them to live in. In a better residential area in Yangcheng, Gu Xingchen estimated that the rental price for a 3-bedroom apartment would be more than 4,000 yuan per month. With the rewards from the system and the 30,000 yuan from his sister-in-law, he has quite a bit of money saved up. He can definitely rent a high-end house with a good environment for Lin Kuwei and the babies. He'll let Rocket Head look for more. As long as the house is good and the environment is good, he won't mind spending the money. He heard the voices of his roommates Taizhu and Huzi coming from his phone. Gu Xingchen's voice was slow and he didn't intend to hide it from them. Yes, Rocket Head is right. I'm with Lin Kuwei and we have twins. In the bedroom. Taizhu and Huzi looked shocked. Damn, Chen hit it well. When did you get together? Holy shit, didn't you just break up with your ex-girlfriend a few months ago? How come you suddenly have kids? You can't even tell. Who says only women gossip? When men gossip, they leave women out of it. Gu Xingchen kept them in suspense. Who was it that just swore an oath to give a red envelope? I have 2 babies to raise now, and the pressure is high. Me, Brother Chen, I'll transfer it to you right now as a contribution to the baby's first month's celebration. Huzi spoke up readily. 5,000 yuan might be a huge sum for other students, but it was only his monthly living expenses. In addition to the 5,000 yuan, he had saved quite a bit of money. Therefore, he didn't feel much pain about the money. Since it had been transferred, Gu Xingchen temporarily accepted it and would return it to the other person after a while. Now that the babies had just been born, having $1 on his person gave him a little more peace of mind. There was no way around it now their status was different, and he was no longer alone. Gu Xingchen thanked Huzi profusely and said with a smile, where do I start? I'd better make this short. Huzi jumped up in agitation, no, Qinggu, you can take your time and tell us the long story, we'll listen carefully, no rush. Gu Xingchen explained roughly, do you remember the day I bought the car? We had a drinking party that night, and I went home first. On the way, I ran into. Later, Kuwei got pregnant, and she decided to give birth to the baby. I never imagined that it would be twins. Yesterday, I drove Didi to take a customer to Rose Community, and I happened to meet her giving birth prematurely. Then I took her to the hospital. That was what happened. After hearing this, Huzi and Aaron were shocked. They had originally thought that Gu Xingchen had secretly started dating the school beauty when he broke up with his ex-girlfriend. They had never imagined that this was the truth. This is too fantastic. The two of them were envious. In their separate minds, they couldn't help but wonder, if they had been the first to meet at the party that night, would they have met the school beauty? If they were lucky, in a couple of years, they would be raising the school beauty's children. So envious. That's the school beauty queen, the goddess sought after by countless people. In the past, they also joked in the dormitory about how happy they would be if they were the school beauty queen's boyfriend. Who would have thought that now the school beauty queen's boyfriend is actually their roommate? And they already have twins. Huzi and Taizhu exchanged glances, full of envy for Gu Xingchen. They thought to themselves, Brother Chen's family ancestral grave is smoking. Brother Chen, you said you wanted to rent a house and take care of the babies. Are you going to live with the school beauty? Don't look at Rocket Head, he's usually so energetic, but he always asks the key questions. Renting is expensive in Yangcheng these days, and 3-bedroom apartments in upscale communities are even more expensive. Brother Chen, I have 2,000 yuan in savings here. I'll transfer it to you to use for now. I'm a single guy, I don't spend any money. Rocket Head is truly Gu Xingchen's best friend. Of the 4 people in the dormitory, Hu Zi and Taizhu are in good condition, and they can casually come up with 2,000 yuan. But for Rocket Head, 2,000 yuan is the family savings that has been saved for several years. Rocket Head's family is in the countryside, just like Gu Xingchen. He comes from a remote mountain village. His family makes a living by farming and can't make much money, so they can only solve the problem of food and clothing. After going to college, he often went out to work part-time to earn very little money and asked his parents for money. He used the money he earned from part-time jobs to pay tuition fees and for living expenses. It was not easy to save more than 2,000 yuan under these circumstances. Seeing that the two had transferred money, Taizhu, who usually got along well with Gu Xingchen, also transferred 5,000 yuan to Gu Xingchen. He would consider it the children's share of the money. Moreover, he knew Gu Xingchen's character, that she was not someone who loved to take small advantages. Now that the other person had a baby and had not yet found a formal job, he would help if he could. He knew the situation of Rocket Head, and he also understood the intentions of the other two. Gu Xingchen was not pretentious. He said seriously, "Thanks, guys. Once this period is over, I'll pay you back as soon as I have the money." The 3 roommates waved their hands, telling him not to be polite, they were all brothers. However, later Gu Xingchen told the 3 of them, "You don't need to tell anyone about me and Kuei. If anyone asks, just say that you guys are together. If you say too much, I'm afraid it will affect Kuei's reputation. After all, they got together 10 months ago when they were drunk. If this gets out, it will affect Lin Kuei to some extent." Gu Xingchen is not afraid, but Lin Kuei is a girl after all, and he has to think about her. The 3 of them patted their chests and nodded. They definitely won't blabber about things they shouldn't. Everyone knows they keep their mouths shut. After explaining things, Gu Xingchen hung up the phone. In the hospital room, the doctor had just removed the urinary catheter. They had just finished breakfast. During the break, Lin Kuei wanted to go to the bathroom. Some hospital ward bathrooms are equipped with a toilet seat, while others are equipped with a squat toilet. And their bathroom has a squat toilet. Lin Kuei needed someone to hold on to when she went to the bathroom the day after her cesarean section. For something like this that could strengthen their relationship, Su Yua pretended to go out to answer the phone and asked Gu Xingchen to take his place. But before going out, he deliberately asked Gu Xingchen, "Xiaochen, last time when you went to Kuei's house, did you bring your underwear?" In fact, during this period of time, due to the disinfection after the cesarean section, Lin Kuei has not been wearing underwear. She can wear underwear now. Gu Xingchen recalled checking the luggage in Lin Kuei's room yesterday, and it seemed like she had brought it or she hadn't. He didn't have the nerve to look at some of the private items he saw yesterday. "You useless thing, you can't even remember this, forget it. I'll look in my bag, if I don't have it I'll go buy some." Chapter 19, Do You Need Any Help? Lin Kuei felt ashamed as she listened to the 2 of them talking. She asked Su Yua not to go out and buy it. She already had it in her luggage. She heard that Lin Kuei had brought it, so Su Yua asked thoughtfully if it was pure cotton. Pure cotton is better for postpartum women to wear, as it is breathable and doesn't constrict. Lin Kuei nodded, as that was what the shopkeeper had recommended to her. Su Yua thinks she is a good shopper. Cotton is comfortable to wear, unlike the chemical fibers of today, which feel weird. And, nowadays, young girls wear flashy clothes in pursuit of sexiness. I think this is still comfortable and considerate to wear. Lin Kuei agrees, I felt quite comfortable wearing it during my pregnancy. Just now, Lin Kuei was embarrassed. Listening to the content of the conversation between the 2, it is now Gu Xingchen's turn to be embarrassed. He interrupted the 2 with a cough, saying, "Auntie, why don't you help Kuei get dressed first, and I'll take her to the bathroom later." After Lin Kuei finished using the bathroom, Gu Xingchen would take her out for some exercise. At this time, there were already quite a few new mothers walking back and forth in the corridor outside the ward. However, most of the new mothers outside were walking alone. They could even go to the bathroom alone. This is the advantage of a natural birth, the body recovers well, and you can be discharged from the hospital soon after giving birth. Caesarean section mothers are different. They have to suffer more. Some people think that with a caesarean section, the pain from the operation is gone because of the anesthesia. But in fact, the pain from the wound does not go away, and you can still feel the pain after the wound is stitched up. If an individual mother has a special constitution, it will hurt even more. Therefore, cesarean section mothers and natural mothers recover more slowly and the process is more difficult. After giving birth, some natural mothers can walk very soon. Cesarean section. For example, Lin Kuei, now lying in bed, has to be extremely careful when turning from side to side, for fear of moving too much and tearing the wound. That, Gu Xingchen, I'm fine. Gu Xingchen was taken aback. It turned out that Su Yue had already put on Lin Kuei's underwear and had already run out into the corridor pretending to make a phone call, leaving a dejected Lin Kuei. I want to cry. It was obvious that Su Yue could have taken her to the bathroom, but she deliberately said that she had urgent business to call home. Lin Kuei knew that the other person had deliberately created an opportunity for her and Gu Xingchen to be alone. But this is so embarrassing. But what can be done now? Su Yue has already gone out. Gu Xingchen came back to his senses, looked at Lin Kuei, who was blushing all over, and nodded, okay, I'll be right over. Lin Kuei lay on the bed, looking at him helplessly. Gu Xingchen walked over to the bed and helped her up. Slowly, try to get out of bed? Lin Kuei tried moving her foot a little and nodded, saying that she should be able to. Gu Xingchen nodded and carefully helped her out of bed. Lin Kuei gently covered the incision wound with one hand, while with the other she placed her hand on Gu Xingchen's hand and slowly got out of bed with his help. Gu Xingchen worriedly asked, how is it? Does it hurt? Lin Kuei nodded with a frown, saying that it hurt a little, but she could bear it. Gu Xingchen watched her struggle to walk and suggested, why don't I carry you over? He rolled up his sleeves and prepared to pick Lin Kuei up. Lin Kuei was startled and shyly waved her hands repeatedly, saying, no, the bathroom is not far, I can walk there myself, and the doctor also said to get out of bed and exercise more. Gu Xingchen said seriously, okay, but be careful, don't let the wound open. Lin Kuei heard Gu Xingchen's gentle and serious words in her ear. She couldn't help but secretly take a look at Gu Xingchen with the corner of her eye. Wow, he really is so tall and handsome, with a great body and a gentle voice. Who on earth voted him the school hunk? And it wasn't Gu Xingchen? She, as the school beauty, had still seen their school hunk. Whether it was looks or charisma, he was a far cry from Gu Xingchen. Lin Kuei felt aggrieved for Gu Xingchen. He was so handsome, but he had remained unknown at school. Before she knew it, she had reached the bathroom door with Gu Xingchen's help. Gu Xingchen opened the bathroom door for her, saying, be careful. Then he glanced at Lin Kuei again and continued, do you want me to go in and help? I'll close my eyes and promise not to look. Lin Kuei. Oh. She quickly shook her head like a rattle, no, I can do it myself, Gu Xingchen nodded, and after closing the door, he stood outside. After the door closed, Lin Kuei couldn't hold it in anymore. She hurriedly and fumblingly undid her pants, because she had held it in for so long, she accidentally touched the wound when she undid her pants, and it hurt a little. Squatting with difficulty, Lin Kuei was so embarrassed. Because she hurriedly took care of Gu Xingchen, she seemed to have not left, and she was embarrassed to stand outside. So she asked, Gu Xingchen, are you still outside? Yes. Is there anything I can help you with? Equals. Lin Kuei cried. Well. After a long time, she didn't hear the sound of water from inside, so Gu Xingchen knew that she must be embarrassed, so he said, you go first, I'll go check on the baby. If you need anything, just call me. After saying this, he turned and walked towards the ward, making a sound with each step to let the other person know that he had left. However, Gu Xingchen walked back to his original position again, continuing to keep watch. He was still worried about Lin Kuei, after all, she had just undergone surgery yesterday. Hearing the sound of footsteps, Lin Kuei knew that Gu Xingchen had left, and she let out a sigh of relief. She really couldn't hold it in anymore. Finally, Lin Kuei stood up with a sense of relief and carefully tidied up her clothes. She was extremely careful during this process. Gu Xingchen, I'm done. Hearing the flushing sound in Lin Kuei's voice, he quietly walked to the ward again, grunted, and walked to the door again. Once again, he helped Lin Kuei, and he asked with concern if she had touched her wound just now and if it hurt. Lin Kuei had just finished peeing, and she still felt a little embarrassed in the bathroom. She hadn't heard clearly what Gu Xingchen had said, so she nodded randomly and said no. Lying back on the bed again, Lin Kuei let out a long sigh of relief. At the same time, she cheered herself on in her heart, Lin Kuei, you have to recover quickly, otherwise it will be so embarrassing to have Gu Xingchen help you to the toilet every time. After Lin Kuei had recovered for a while, Gu Xingchen helped her out of bed again. Now she had difficulty moving around, and she walked with a waddle, looking very much like a quail. Fortunately, with Gu Xingqian holding her hand, she was able to walk normally. As soon as the two of them walked down the hospital corridor, they immediately attracted everyone's attention. Mom, yeah, this pair of new parents are so good looking, right? And that new dad is so handsome. He's always by his wife's side, so sweet and gentle. Most of the new mothers in the corridor were on their own, and when they saw Lin Kowei being accompanied by such a handsome husband, they looked at her with envy. Chapter 20, Magical Potion. The new mothers looked at Lin Kowei with envy. First of all, they felt that the husband was so handsome. The second thing is that this new dad is so young and has a child already. It's a pity that such a handsome young man is someone else's husband. The young mothers only dared to whisper, not daring to let Gu Xingqian and the others hear. But their expressions had already betrayed them, deeply amazed by the two men's appearance. Gu Xingqian helped Lin Kowei walk back and forth in the corridor for 10 minutes, and then did a little simple stretching. Maternal activity should not be too long. After a while, Gu Xingqian took Lin Kowei back to rest. After walking around for a while, Lin Kowei was in good condition. Gu Xingqian thought he could rest assured. However, when he was on night watch that night, Lin Kowei's wounds suddenly started to hurt badly. He quickly ran to the doctor on duty to report the situation. Doctor, my wife's cesarean section wound suddenly hurts a lot. I got the analgesic pump in the morning. The doctor on duty quickly came over to examine Lin Kowei, then used iodine to clean her wound again, and finally calmed the two of them. This is a common phenomenon, it's fine, just bear with it, it won't hurt tomorrow, and other people have had this situation too. Gu Xingqian looked at Lin Kowei, who was suffering in pain with no blood in her lips, and couldn't bear to see her continue to suffer. She hurriedly asked the doctor if there was any way to relieve the pain. The doctor thought about it and said that there was indeed a way, but they were not recommended to use it. It was true that they could take painkillers, but if they did, they would not be able to breastfeed their babies for a short period of time. It was generally necessary for a mother to wait 2 to 3 days after taking painkillers before she could breastfeed her baby. Your child had just been born not long ago, so for their sake, I do not recommend that you take the painkillers. In fact, the pain will pass if you just bear with it. Other mothers also went through the same thing. Don't worry, this is a normal reaction after surgery. In the meantime, you should try to calm the mother's emotions. You have twins. I really don't want you to give them formula milk the day after they are born. Lin Kowei heard the doctor's words and called Gu Xingqian back. She pursed her lips and said, I don't want to take painkillers. I can bear it. It will be fine tomorrow. I still have to breastfeed the babies. Twins are naturally smaller than ordinary babies. Other people drink breast milk as soon as they are born. Their babies are already small, and if they drink formula milk, they will be even further behind other babies in the future. For the sake of her children, no matter how painful it is, she has to persevere. Looking at her determined eyes, they are full of love for her babies. The more Gu Xingqian looked at her, the more distressed he felt for this woman. Ding dong, the owner accompanied Lin Kowei to complete her first postpartum activity and complete the hidden task, rewarding 1,000 yuan in cash and a bottle of painkiller medicine. Gu Xingqian? Mom! Painkiller, are you serious, system? The doctor just said it is not recommended for new mothers, and your reward arrived just after she left. It seems to know what Gu Xingqian is thinking. The system explained that the painkiller reward is perfect, without any side effects, and the new mother can breastfeed her baby after taking it, without having to wait 2 to 3 days. Is that true? It's so awesome. System, it's the real thing, absolutely real medicine. The system is so amazing, I think it must be true. However, Gu Xingqian was still not at ease. After getting the painkiller, he secretly poured some into a cup and tried a sip, but didn't notice anything unusual, so he gave it to Lin Kowei to use. System. The painkiller is a colorless, transparent liquid. Looking at Lin Kowei, who is pale and clutching her stomach on the hospital bed, Gu Xingqian pours her a glass of warm water and quietly pours the painkiller into it. Stir. The warm water and the painkiller blend perfectly. Gu Xingqian goes to the bedside and asks with concern, does it hurt a lot? Lin Kowei bites her pale lips and stubbornly shakes her head, no, it doesn't hurt, I can bear it. Seeing that her forehead was sweating from the pain, Gu Xingqian tenderly handed her the cup, saying, here, drink some hot water to ease the pain. Lin Kowei let out a pale and slowly opened her mouth while holding the cup in both hands. Gradually, Lin Koei noticed that her stomach felt warm, and the pain in her wounds slowly disappeared. Lin Koei was surprised. She couldn't feel any pain at all. That was amazing. How could that be? Just now, it was clearly unbearable. Gu Xingchen, what did you just give me to drink? My stomach doesn't hurt anymore, it's amazing. Gu Xingchen was delighted, he didn't expect the potion to have such an effect so quickly. It's still the system, it's reliable. But he kept his composure and made an expression of surprise. It's not hurting anymore? I'll give you something to drink too, it's just ordinary hot water. Can hot water really cure all illnesses? If I can't figure it out, I won't think about it. Lin Koei's stomach stopped hurting and she laughed happily again. Because it was already midnight, and because her stomach was still in pain, Lin Koei soon fell asleep after recovering. The babies woke up 2 or 3 times in the middle of the night, and Gu Xingchen got up to change their diapers half asleep. When he fell asleep again, it was already 5:30 in the morning. Early in the morning, Su Yua came to Lin Koei with fish soup. As soon as she entered the door, she saw her big nephews with dark circles under their eyes. What's wrong? Did you play with your phone all night? You have dark circles under your eyes. Gu Xingchen felt aggrieved. No, last night, in the middle of the night, Koei had a tummy ache, and in the second half of the night, the babies first peed and then pooped, so I got up to change them, and I didn't dare fall asleep too deeply. Su Yuha nodded. In fact, she had just been joking with her nephew. Gu Xingchen had known her since she was little, and she knew her best. There was no way she would play with her phone all night at a time like this. She glanced at the bed and saw that Lin Koei was still sleeping soundly. She told Gu Xingchen, "You were so tired last night, so go back to the rental house and rest for a while. Come back later, I'll be here with Koei." Gu Xingchen nodded. She said, "Only by getting enough rest can I take better care of the baby and the adults." Well, then, I'll go back first, Auntie. You've worked hard here, so I'll go back first. I'll come back later. Su Yuha nodded, "Go back, and be careful driving." I know. Lin Koei had not yet woken up after Gu Xingchen had left. Su Yua put the fish soup down and went over to check on the babies. Newborn babies change a lot. On the first day, the babies were as red as wrinkly little red monkeys. Now they are changing by the day, and on the third day they have already become rosy and tender. From the appearance of her nephew and her child's mother, Su Yua can tell without guessing that the babies, who have inherited the genes of both of them, will definitely grow up to be a handsome guy and a beautiful girl. With 2 more babies, even when she was asleep, Lin Koei subconsciously reminded herself to wake up and feed the babies. Chapter 21 Brother Chen, don't worry, I'm the most secretive person. Lin Koei opened her eyes dazedly and saw Su Yua. Auntie, you're here. Su Yua nodded. Come, Auntie will wash your face. After washing up, have breakfast. Auntie specially made you Crucian carp soup. Thank you, Auntie. Lin Koei glanced around the room but didn't see Gu Xingchen's figure. Su Yua couldn't help but smile and say that she had just told Gu Xingchen to go back and rest. He hadn't rested well last night taking care of the baby, and had dark circles under his eyes. He should go back and get some rest and come back later. After eating breakfast, Lin Koei once again felt like going to the bathroom. Recently, she had been urinating quite a bit. Since Gu Xingchen wasn't here, she had to let Su Yua help her to the bathroom. Like an awkward penguin, she slowly shuffled into the bathroom. Su Yua was worried that she would hurt herself if she did it alone. She helped her take off her pants directly. Lin Koei covered her face. Why is this happening? What about my image? Su Yua said seriously that they were both women, so there was nothing to be embarrassed about. After going to the bathroom, Su Yua helped her out of the ward again to carry out her daily activities. On the other side, 11 a.m. Gu Xingchen gets up and sees a message from Rocket Head. Brother Chen, the houses you asked me to find, I've narrowed it down to 3 suitable ones, all with rents above 4,500. Do you want to consider them? Brother Chen, if you're not in a hurry, I'll keep looking. I think the prices are too high. Gu Xingchen shakes his head and replies, don't bother looking, let's go look at the houses together at noon. 4,500 per month in rent. To be honest, it is very expensive for ordinary people, but for Gu Xingchen at the moment, it is still acceptable if she gritted her teeth. As long as the babies are comfortable, it is worth spending any amount of money. At noon, after viewing 3 suites, Gu Xingchen finally chose the one in Mingyue Residential Community, which is close to the school. The distance from the residential community to the school is only 7 or 8 minutes. And what made Gu Xingchen most excited was that the landlord, after learning that he is a father of 2 babies, felt that he was not easy. The same rent is paid on a monthly basis. Unlike the other 2 apartments, which require a deposit of 2 months' rent, a large sum of money all at once. If you move in for less than 3 months, the deposit will be refunded. After looking at the apartment, Rockethead insisted on going to the hospital to see the babies. Gu Xingchen disagreed, but he was so cute that he made him break out in goosebumps. He had no choice but to take him with him. First of all, I'd like to remind you that when you get to the hospital, don't talk nonsense in front of Koei. No, it's better to try not to talk if you can. On the way there, Gu Xingchen had to remind Rockethead not to blabber and not to scare Lin Koei. After all, Rockethead was notorious for being a loudmouth in their dormitory. Rockethead pounded his chest. Don't worry, Brother Chen, you don't believe me yet. However, as soon as they arrived at the hospital, Rockethead's loudmouth nature could no longer be hidden. Wow, sister-in-law, you're even prettier. You don't even know that your affair with Brother Chen is already. Gu Xingchen quickly dragged him aside and said, what's the point of saying this? You're in the hospital, what if it affects your mood? Rockethead sobered up, gave a laugh, and quickly made amends, saying that no one knows about you and Chen Gu, it's very secretive. Rockethead then remembered that Lin Koei is currently in a period of recuperation, and stabilizing her emotions well will help her body recover. It is best not to let other things affect her emotions. He apologized to Gu Xingchen for being quick-tempered. Rockethead turned his head and greeted Su Yuhua enthusiastically. Hello, Auntie. I'm Chen Ji's good friend, my name is Rockethead. Hello, Rockethead. Su Yuhua nodded and smiled as she greeted him. Su Yuhua had heard from her nephew about his friend, who was honest and enthusiastic. He was his best friend during university. Gu Xingchen couldn't wait to go see the babies. Rockethead happily followed him to the crib and carefully looked at the 2 little balls of milk. The 2 babies were already quite different from the ones he had seen the day before. Little Candy and little glutinous rice had already visibly turned white and tender. Rockethead looked at the 2 identical babies and couldn't tell them apart. Chen, can you tell the babies apart? Gu Xingchen laughed and replied, yes, I can. Little Candy has the potential to be a little piglet, and every time she eats, she makes a little puff, which will make Lin Koei feel very sorry for her. Little Sticky Rice is different. He eats more slowly and is used to snuggling in his mother's arms while he drinks. You can also tell them apart by their hair. Babies have hair from birth, and Big Treasure has a little more hair than Little Treasure. But it's hard to tell without looking closely. Now that the babies are still young, their distinguishing features are not obvious. It will be easier for outsiders to tell the difference when they are older. But for now, the most obvious way to tell them apart is the different colors of the little blankets the babies are wrapped in. After looking at the babies, Gu Xingchen asked Lin Koei for the keys so he could go over and help her move. Gu Xingchen told her that they had already found a rental that was suitable for the babies. He and Hua Jiantu would help her move her things over in advance, and after she was discharged from the hospital, they could bring the babies and move in. Soon, the 2 arrived at the Rose community where Lin Koei lived. Rockethead stood in the living room, looking curiously left and right. Brother Chen, I can't believe I'm standing in the home of the school flower. Damn, if I record a video and post it on WeChat Moments, everyone at school will probably be jealous to death. Rockethead had a sudden brainstorm. Gu Xingchen pretended to be angry and said, record what? This is my wife's room, so hurry up and clean it up, we're moving later. You take the living room, bathroom, and balcony. Gu Xingchen tidied up the remaining 2 rooms, which contained quite a bit of Lin Koei's privacy. The quilt in the room was neatly folded and placed on the bed. The closet was full of beautiful clothes, but most of the tags had not been removed. It was estimated that Lin Koei liked them when she bought them, but later when she came home, she didn't like them and just left them there without wearing them. There were also neatly arranged cosmetics on the table, as if they had never been used. It is possible that Lin Koei has not used them since she became pregnant. Moreover, even if Lin Koei doesn't wear makeup, she is still charming and mesmerizing with her natural beauty. There are many beautiful clothes bags in the room, and Gu Xingchen finds it easy to pack them up. Rockethead is clumsy and knocks over a cup in the living room before he even starts packing. Fortunately, it was just a paper cup, not a glass. Gu Xingchen glanced at him as he left the house. Rockethead gave an embarrassed smile, saying, oops, my mistake. My hand slipped. Don't worry, Brother Chen, I'll take care of the living room. Gu Xingchen nodded and took the time to find a moving company online. Once they're packed, the moving company can come over and drive away immediately. He plans to finish the move within the day. It's already the third day since Lin Kuwei was admitted to the hospital, and she can be discharged in 4 days. Chapter 22. Lin Kuwei was so envious that she had almost finished packing all her belongings. She just needed to wait for the movers to arrive before she could leave. During this time, Gu Xingchen found an exquisite box in the closet in Lin Kuwei's room. There was also a cute bow tied on the outside. Gu Xingchen didn't know what was inside. What if it contained fragile items that would be broken during the moving process? Gu Xingchen pondered for a moment and decided to open it to see what was inside. However, he untied the bow. He opened the box. What came into view were all kinds of sexy underwear, panties, thongs, bras, and so on. Gu Xingchen was shocked. The school beauty queen had such sexy underwear. Auntie had said that young people like to wear flashy underwear, and Lin Kuwei actually had so much of it. And there were different styles. It was really dazzling. At this moment, the door opened and Rocket Head stuck his head in, saying, "Brother Chen, I've finished tidying up outside." Holy shit, what a beautiful suitcase. Brother Chen, what are you looking at? Rocket Head, like a curious child, walked in and wanted to look at it with him. Gu Xingchen was startled and quickly covered the suitcase and tied the bow. Holy shit, Brother Chen, you're so overreacting, what's in it? Let me take a look. Gu Xingchen controlled his emotions, coughed lightly without saying a word, and said, "Nothing, just ordinary things." The movers are here, let's go wait for them in the living room. Rocket Head didn't seem to notice the unusual expression on Gu Xingchen's face. Since Chen said it was ordinary objects, there was nothing to see. In the meantime, Gu Xingchen also found Lin Kuwei's landlord to return the deposit. The other party heard that Lin Kuwei had given birth and got a pair of twins, and was happy for her. Seeing that the father of the child was so handsome, she readily returned the deposit to him. "So you're Kuwei's boyfriend, you're quite handsome, but I've never seen you visit her before. She's a young girl carrying a child, and she's been on her own. I don't know how much suffering she's endured, it makes me feel so sad. But it's okay now, it's good that you've appeared, so treat her well in the future, Kuwei is a good girl." The landlord was an elderly aunt in her 50s. After learning that Gu Xingchen was Lin Kuwei's boyfriend, she kept saying how hard it was for her. Gu Xingchen was embarrassed and didn't know how to respond, so he stood there quietly listening. An hour later, Gu Xingchen and Lin Kuwei followed the moving company and moved Lin Kuwei's luggage to their new rental apartment, Mingyue Community. Back at the hospital, Gu Xingchen noticed that a new expectant mother had moved into their ward. The other person was older than Lin Kuwei, estimated to be 24 or 5 years old. However, she had a baby face and looked like she was 18 or 9 years old. She is a carefree person with a big heart. She also has a very big appetite. Even though she is about to give birth, she is still eating a lot. Next to her hospital bed sits an aunt in her 40s, dressed in exquisite clothes. It seems that she is the mother-in-law. The pregnant woman, with her big belly, looks at Lin Kuwei while she eats and says admiringly, "Wow, it's twins. You are so pretty and have such a good temperament, and your husband is so handsome, so your baby will definitely be very good looking." The pregnant woman was a bit of a loose cannon, with the personality of an immature child and quick to speak. Even though her mother-in-law was sitting right next to her, she still gushed about how handsome other people's husbands looked. When she saw Gu Xingchen go over to look at the baby, she asked, "You both look so young, are you still students?" Gu Xingchen nodded and replied, "Yes, we'll graduate next year." The woman let out a "oh" and said, "You're so lucky, deciding to get together before you graduate and even having twins. Are you going to hire a nanny to help you in the future?" Gu Xingchen shook his head, "I'll do it myself." Lin Kuwei looked at him in surprise. What did Gu Xingchen mean, not hiring a nanny and doing it himself? Did he plan to take care of the babies and be a stay-at-home dad? If so, what about his future? Lin Kuwei thought about finding an opportunity to talk to him about taking care of the babies in the future. As they talked, a slightly chubby man of about 1.7 meters walked in through the door. He was carrying baby supplies and laundry for the adults. The man was the woman's husband. The woman had finished eating and was lying in bed talking to herself. She was not sure who she was talking to, Gu Xingchen and Lin Kuwei, or if she was just being bored and talking to herself. She was so happy to finally be in labor after carrying the baby for so long. I couldn't eat a lot of things during this period, and it was really hard on me. It's good to give birth, because after that I won't have to suffer like this every day, and I can go out to work and earn money to buy delicious food." While she was talking, the woman suddenly covered her stomach and kept screaming in pain. Her mother-in-law quickly called the doctor over and pulled the curtain to examine her. The baby's head had already been born, so she could go into the delivery room. Dr. Pei turned to the nurse and asked, "Do you have a place in the delivery room now?" The nurse quickly nodded and said, "Yes." "Good, send the pregnant woman to the waiting room right away, be prepared at all times." Gu Xingqian and Lin Kowei looked at each other. This is so sudden. But when they think about their own babies being suddenly premature, it seems that the situation is even more sudden than theirs. And it seems that their babies are favored by heaven. The premature babies are so healthy that they don't even need to go into an incubator at birth. Lin Kowei can't help but marvel at her good luck and the good fortune of her babies. Just as the two of them were speculating about each other's delivery, the grandmother in the next bed returned with a baby in her arms. Gu Xingqian was surprised. "She gave birth already?" The grandmother next door nodded. "She gave birth already." Lin Kowei was also surprised. She thought about how long it took her to give birth to little Candy and little glutinous rice, and compared it to the other woman, who gave birth in just over an hour. It was over. That was too fast. It really is true that there is no harm in not having a comparison. This speed also exceeded Gu Xingqian's expectations. But he had seen more outrageous news before. There was this pregnant woman who went online in an internet cafe. While she was surfing the web, her baby was born, so she went to the toilet and gave birth to the baby. Then she came back and continued surfing the web. Gu Xingqian was really shocked when he first heard this news. Now, although she was surprised to see someone give birth to a baby in just over an hour, she was not shocked. The woman was accompanied by medical staff and wheeled back to the ward, not long after the woman next door had returned with her baby. Lying in bed, the woman's face was full of smiles. She had finally given birth, but she was exhausted. The woman's constitution was indeed incomparable to Lin Kowei's. It seemed that the other woman's mental state after giving birth had not changed much from before entering the delivery room. In fact, her mental state was even better at this time than it had been just now. Mom, Lin Kowei was so jealous. If she had the other woman's mental state, she estimated that she would have been able to leave the hospital by now. Chapter 23, Why don't I let my sister-in-law pay the down payment on a flat for you? Because the other woman had given birth vaginally, she didn't need to wait to pass wind before eating, as Lin Kowei had to. However, Lin Kowei noticed that the other woman's mother-in-law didn't seem very happy. Perhaps it was because she wanted a grandson. Naturally, she wasn't happy when her daughter-in-law gave birth to a granddaughter. Her attitude had worsened because of the disappointment in her heart. Moreover, the other woman's husband seemed to be a mama's boy, listening to his mother on everything. He rarely shows any concern for the woman who has just given birth, and he just stands by the bedside, looking at the baby for a while and then playing with his phone. In contrast, Lin Kowei suddenly felt quite lucky. Gu Xingqian was very attentive, both to her and the baby. And Su Yuha also cared very much about them. A new day had arrived. Today was already the 4th day of Lin Kowei's hospital stay. She could be discharged after enduring 3 more days. Of course, if her body recovered well, she could also apply for discharge earlier. Now she could already get out of bed and walk alone. However, for her safety, Gu Xingqian or Su Yue is always by her side to help her. The way the two treat the new mother is worlds apart from the attitude of the old woman in the next bed towards her daughter-in-law. In the morning, Su Yue brought freshly made chicken soup from home. Su Yue said to Lin Kowei with concern, "Your wound has not yet recovered, so it's best to eat while lying down, otherwise you'll roll it up and I'll feed you." In the past few days, Lin Kowei has become accustomed to Su Yue's care and obediently leans back on the pillow. On the other side of the room, in the next bed, the mother will be discharged from the hospital tomorrow. However, her mother-in-law's attitude towards her has lost its previous warmth, and she didn't even bring her breakfast. Her husband is also indecisive, and apart from playing with his phone, he just waits for his mother-in-law to arrange his work for him. At this moment, the woman's stomach is already growling with hunger. Su Yuha looked at her with concern and asked, "Young lady, would you like some chicken soup? We still have a lot here, do you want some?" The woman's mother-in-law was just about to refuse when the woman exclaimed in surprise, "Thank you so much, Auntie, we'll eat it. It smells so good." Su Yue gave a small smile and said, "You're welcome." I made a lot today, but it's more than we can eat. Her mother-in-law grumbled beside her, all you know is to eat, 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 and you've given birth to a loser. The woman looked dejected, and she drank the chicken soup with her head bowed. Lin Kuei felt sorry for her, having such a patriarchal mother-in-law. Su Yuhua comforted her, saying, a girl is just as good. She'll be a little cotton-padded jacket for her parents to cuddle. If you have a boy, you'll have to prepare a house and a bride price for them. They're both good in their own ways. Girl, drink more chicken soup so you'll have milk to feed your child. After breakfast. As the doctor had instructed, Su Yuhua helped Lin Kuei downstairs to the garden. These past 2 days, she had struck up a conversation with an old woman in the next ward. The other woman's daughter-in-law had also given birth via cesarean section, just like Lin Kuei. The two had made plans to go out together to take care of their children and go downstairs to get some sun. Su Yuhua put a cotton hat on Lin Kuei's head and put on some cotton slippers before feeling relieved and helping her out the door. Exercising after giving birth not only promotes recovery, it also helps to expel discharge and restore the contraction of the uterus. Moreover, since that night, after drinking the cup of warm water handed to her by Gu Xingchen, Lin Kuei has noticed that her wound doesn't hurt as much. Although it occasionally hurts, it doesn't hurt as much as before. The four of them went downstairs to the garden to take a walk. In addition to them, there were also many other postpartum women and inpatients exercising. At this time, a middle-aged woman holding a business card walked over to them. Hello, mothers, I am an employee of the Loving Baby Photography Company. We can take 3 free photos of your baby. Are you interested? The middle-aged woman's face was full of enthusiasm, making it hard to refuse her. Lin Kuei and the other mother didn't know how to refuse. Su Yuhua took the business card for them and said with a nod, we'll consider it. They will call them if necessary. The woman nodded and smiled, then went to find the next target. All the new mothers in the hospital are potential customers of their photography company. They usually cannot enter the wards to promote their business, so the hospital garden is the best place to do so. After the middle-aged woman left, another grandmother couldn't help but say, there's no such thing as a free lunch in the world. They say they'll take 3 free photos, but in the end they just want us to go to their place to take children's photos, right? These are common marketing tactics, and they are not unfamiliar with them. Su Yuhua smiled and said, keep the business card. Even if you want to take pictures of your babies in the future, you should compare several places before making a decision. That's a good point. After the event, they returned to the ward. Su Yuhua pulled Gu Xingchen outside the corridor and said something in a whisper. In fact, it was something she had been thinking about for the past few days. Su Yuhua said to Gu Xingchen in a consultative tone, Xiaochen, why don't we try to find a place to buy a house in Yangcheng? That way, your family won't have to live in rented accommodation, and the babies will feel more secure having their own home. This is something she has thought about very carefully. The house that Gu Xingchen rents in Yangcheng costs 4,500 yuan per month, which is too expensive. If they continue living there for a long time, Su Yuhua doesn't think it's cost-effective. It's better to bite the bullet and buy a house with a down payment. There are so many hardcover houses these days, and you can move in as long as you buy with a down payment. Buy a house? Auntie, you want to buy a house? Gu Xingchen was shocked to hear this. In fact, he really wants to buy a house, but he just doesn't have enough money right now. However, with the system in place, he believes that buying a house is just a matter of time. There is no need for his aunt to help pay the down payment, and their family doesn't have that much money anyway. He also has 2 cousins going to school. Gu Xingchen quickly shook his head and refused. Auntie, don't worry about the house, I will take care of it myself in the future. Su Yuhua gave a warm smile and said, I know you're thinking of your sister-in-law, but your cousins don't spend much these days. Your aunt and I still have some savings from all these years, and if it's not enough, we can borrow a little from relatives and friends. If you're worried that your sister-in-law's family won't have money in the future, you can just mortgage the house after you get the property ownership certificate, and you'll have the money again. So don't worry about your sister-in-law. You can't use the money now, so you might as well take it out and use it as a down payment. My sister-in-law's words were not finished. She continued to say earnestly, and I believe you can see it too, that this girl, Kuei, is definitely not simple. Now that I haven't seen her family come over, how are you going to face her family in the future without a house? Right now, only a house can give a woman a sense of security. But Wei is such a pretty girl, and you have nothing. What if she runs away with someone else in the future? So listen to your sister-in-law, for the sake of your future, you must buy this house no matter what. From the few days of contact, anyone who is not blind can sense the extraordinary nature of Lin Kuwei's family. Facing a girl from such a family, if you don't even have a house, you will probably be teased by her relatives and friends in the future. Gu Xingchen was moved. He could feel his sister-in-law's kindness towards him. Chapter 24, Early Discharge, Special Reward. Auntie, buying a house is such a big deal, we'll discuss it later, it's too sudden now. Anyway, I'll figure it out myself first, if I can't scrape together enough money, I'll talk to you. He will buy a house, but it will be with his own money. Su Yuhua nodded. But she had decided in her heart to help Gu Xingchen. After all, this is her sister's only son. Having raised him beside her for so many years, Su Yuhua had long ago come to regard him as her own son. Lin Kuwei was lying quietly on the bed, listening with her ears pricked up. The baby in the next bed was already crying hungrily. His mother hadn't started breastfeeding him, so he couldn't get any colostrum and was crying a lot. His grandmother was complaining next to him, saying that he usually ate so much, but now there was no milk, and he had eaten for nothing. The woman felt aggrieved. I wish I had some too, but now I can only let the baby drink formula milk. Her mother-in-law disagreed. Breast milk is expensive and unsafe these days, and there are always news reports about problems with milk powder on the TV. If you don't have milk now, just pump. The woman could clearly feel her baby's birth changing her attitude. But she was also a straightforward person, so she said without any hesitation, "Didn't you just feed him? If you don't have milk, there's nothing the baby can do but suck." Lin Kuwei saw this scene from her hospital bed and was grateful for her good fortune in meeting Gu Xingchen and Su Yuhua. It wasn't long before the woman's husband returned with a bag. Inside was a breast pump. It was specially designed to help mothers who didn't have colostrum to produce milk. However, they fiddled with the instructions for a while, but still got no results. At this time, the nurse came over and saw the situation and gave some advice. The baby is so hungry right now, and since the mother doesn't have any milk, he will have to start with formula. Well, why don't you find a lactation consultant to come over, and maybe they can help get things started. The most urgent task at the moment is to solve the problem of the baby being hungry, and the lactation consultant can only be found later. Lin Kuwei watched quietly from the side. This was the most problematic family she had ever seen. The mother-in-law obviously wanted a grandson more than a granddaughter and didn't like the newborn granddaughter. She didn't even want to buy expensive formula for her to drink. And since the woman didn't have any colostrum to give the baby, she wanted to buy the best formula for the child to drink. The mother-in-law and daughter-in-law would argue from time to time. Her husband, on the other hand, is oblivious to the two women's bickering, playing with his phone and watching live broadcasts of beautiful women. He is, after all, worried about his own baby. In the evening, they called in a lactation consultant, and through the curtain, Lin Kuwei could hear the woman's screams of pain. After a lot of fuss, the milk finally came in, not much but enough for the baby to eat. In the blink of an eye, it was Lin Kuwei's 6th day in the hospital, and her body had recovered well in all aspects. She could be discharged early. Dr. Pei from the obstetrics and gynecology department gave her a final examination. If everything is normal, after completing the formalities, she can be discharged. Dr. Pei nodded with a smile, saying that she had recovered very well and there were no major problems, so she could be discharged today. If there are any problems during the period, just call me, okay? Dr. Pei took good care of Lin Kuwei and even added each other on WeChat, so in the future, if there is anything, she can consult her at any time on WeChat. Su Yuhua thanked her repeatedly, saying, "Thank you, Dr. Pei. If it weren't for your care, my niece-in-law would not have recovered so quickly. I really thank you all." Dr. Pei waved his hand and smiled, saying, "These are things we should do. But your niece-in-law's quick recovery is mainly thanks to you. The surgery for a cesarean section drains a lot of energy, so you need to take good care of her during the month of rest. You two should go back and live your lives." Gu Xingchen's car was in the parking lot. After packing up, they could just walk over to the car and go home. Gu Xingchen first put the luggage in the trunk, then came back to pick them up. Su Yuhua pushed the stroller with the babies in it, while Gu Xingchen helped Lin Kuwei walk. Lin Kuwei pursed her lips and said, "Gu Xingchen, you don't need to help me, I can walk by myself now." Gu Xingchen turned her head and gave her a bright smile. "I know, but it's too far from here. I'm afraid you can't support yourself after you just recovered, so listen to me and let me help you get there." Feeling Gu Xingchen's bright and warm smile, Lin Kuwei nodded shyly, her heart pounding like a fawn. "Mom, he's so handsome. And gentle. Gu Xingchen said as they walked. We live in Mingyue community, which is not far from our school. The environment of the community is quite good, but I'm not sure if you like the decoration style. Gu Xingchen thought the rental environment was quite good, but he didn't dare to be too confident about what Lin Kewei would think. Lin Kewei smiled and said that she didn't care what kind of place they lived in, as long as it was suitable for the baby. The most important thing was that the baby could live comfortably, in an environmentally friendly place, free from harmful gases. Gu Xingchen assured her that he and Rocket had tested the house with a formaldehyde detector and there were no harmful gases. And since the house was renovated, they are the first tenants. After the car entered the community, Lin Kewei was observing the outside environment, and the greening rate was very high. There was the fragrance of flowers, the chirping of birds, and a fountain in the community, and the environment was very beautiful. The security system was sound, and the community separated people from vehicles. You had to swipe your card to get into the elevator, and there were 2 elevators for 4 households. Entering the room, Lin Kewei looked around, and the decoration was not bad, similar to the style in the Rose community, and it was clean. There are 3 bedrooms and 2 living rooms, so there is a lot of space to use. Su Yuhua also took a look around and noticed that each room is equipped with air conditioning and a fan. She reminded the 2 that it is best to keep the air conditioning off during the day and not set the temperature too low. Also, the fan should not blow directly on your head. Lin Kewei also reminded them that she is weak and should not overexert herself. Lin Kewei nodded, looked around curiously, and noticed that the view from the balcony was beautiful. Let's put the luggage away in the bedroom first. Chen, come here and help me move the crib to the master bedroom. The babies will sleep with you tonight. Lin Kewei blushed. The 2 of them will sleep together? But it seems like that's the way it should be. Otherwise, if the babies get hungry at night and need to be breastfed, it would be inconvenient for them to walk back and forth between the 2 rooms. If the babies sleep with her and Gu Xingchen isn't there, there's no way she can take care of both of them at the same time in her current condition. And Su Yuhua? She is going back tomorrow, so in order to take care of the baby, she and Gu Xingchen will have to live together in the future. Ding dong, congratulations to the owner for accompanying Lin Kewei and the babies after they were discharged from the hospital, and a reward of 50,000 yuan in cash acquired talent, Master Chef Level 1. Note, the Level 1 Master Chef talent allows the owner to surpass most people in cooking. Just after Gu Xingchen and Su Yuhua had set up the crib, the voice of the system rang out in their minds again. Obtained Level 1 Master Chef talent? It seems that there is room for improvement in the future if you perform well. Gu Xingchen pondered for a moment before a smile spread across his face. He was already very happy to have surpassed most people in terms of culinary skills. P.S. I've been stressed out looking at the data these past few days, so please, if you've seen the latest chapters, could you please click to speed up the process for the little ones? Please. I love you all, hugs and kisses. Please, please poorly. Chapter 25, He Can Cook, too? That's amazing. Gu Xingchen was overjoyed to have acquired a talent for cooking. After tidying up, Lin Kewei looked at the 2 sleeping babies in their crib and reminisced about herself as a child. There was a vegetable market near the community. Seeing that it was almost time for dinner, Gu Xingchen came back and told Su Yuhua, Auntie, dinner is almost ready, I'm going out to buy some food. Okay. After returning from the market, Gu Xingchen intends to try out the cooking skills just awarded by the system. However, Su Yuhua doesn't believe him and gives him a cold stare, saying, You can't cook as well as me. Go take care of the babies, I'll cook this meal. It's so hot outside, and cooking in the kitchen is like burning a boiler, you'll sweat all over. Gu Xingchen feels sorry for his sister-in-law. I'll do it, and I can let Kewei try my cooking. Besides, I haven't cooked for you in a long time. Su Yuhua hesitated for a moment before nodding. If you want to capture a woman, you have to first capture her stomach. This was indeed a good opportunity. However, she did not mean to leave, but to help Gu Xingchen by her side. While busy, she reminded Gu Xingchen that she must take good care of Lin Kewei and the babies while she was gone. Gu Xingchen nodded and said she would. Then she continued, I'll be gone for a few days to take care of some family matters, and then I'll come back to help you take care of Kewei during her confinement. Gu Xingchen refused, Auntie, you don't need to come here. Just take care of your uncle at home. He has bad legs and feet, and my cousins are not at home. I don't feel at ease leaving him alone. I'll take care of Kewei during her confinement. Su Yuhua wanted to say something else, but Gu Xingchen interrupted her directly. I can take care of it, but I really can't. I'm calling you. Su Yuha still hesitated. You're a first-time dad, and there are two small children in addition to the adults. Are you sure you can handle it? Gu Xingchen put down the kitchen knife in his hand. Auntie, I'll do my best. You know I can take care of people. There's a ton of stuff to do at home. Uncle can't handle it alone. You can trust me here. Seeing that Gu Xingchen was so insistent, Su Yuha could only nod. She would go back for a few days, and if Gu Xingchen was too busy, she would come back to help. Gu Xingchen was determined to try the system's reward skills. When he picked up the cleaver again, the Master Chef talent was activated. Although it was only level 1, it was still very amazing. It was as if he was born to cook. The cleaver seemed to be growing out of his hand, and he used it with ease. Even the movements of washing and cutting vegetables were as silky as if he had eaten 10 caddies of chocolate. My. In the past, the sliced meat was never very good, but now it's as thin as a sheet of paper. Chop, chop, chop. The knife in Gu Xingchen's hands can play tricks. A set of movements is fluid and unrestrained. Su Yuha, who was standing nearby, was stunned. My goodness, when did my nephew become such a good cook? His movements seem more skilled than hers. Outside the door, Lin Kuei had been paying close attention to every move in the kitchen. When she heard Gu Xingchen say that he wanted to cook, Lin Kuei was very surprised. She never imagined that he could cook. Well, nowadays there are fewer and fewer men who can cook. In addition to his appearance, Gu Xingchen also gets extra points for his cooking skills. However, what followed next made her immediately dumbfounded. She had underestimated his abilities. Gu Xingchen looked like a cooking artist, as if he was not cooking food, but art. He flipped the pan, turned on the fire and added oil, and every movement was aesthetically pleasing. It was pleasing to the eye and felt like a warm spring breeze. Lin Kuei never dreamed that cooking could be so beautiful. He was like an artist, and the kitchen was not just a kitchen, it was a canvas. Gu Xingchen was freely expressing his talent. Soon the food was fragrant, and the aroma that drifted out made the rhubarb in the house next door cry with envy. Wow, it smells so good. Lin Kuei couldn't help but speak out, unable to resist the temptation of the food. The two sleeping babies in the room seemed to smell the aroma in their dreams, smacking their lips in an interested manner. Kuei, little sister-in-law, get ready to wash your hands and eat. Okay. This time, Gu Xingchen made nutritious meals that a new mother would eat during her postpartum period. There is braised old hen with white radish, biochemical soup, steamed egg with crush and carp soup, stir-fried zucchini with shrimp, stir-fried beef with garlic chives, and 2 vegetables. The food smells especially delicious. She serves the food on the dining table and places the rice cooker next to it for serving the rice. The dining table in the living room is a square table for 6 people, with plenty of space for the 3 of them to sit casually. After the food is served, Lin Kuei is even hungrier. Her stomach grumbled unpleasantly. Oh my, what beautiful food, it smells so good. It looks so delicious. Amazing, Gu Xingchen, you're so good. Lin Kuei couldn't help but praise him as she swallowed. Gu Xingchen pulled out a chair for her to sit down, then served her rice. Lin Kuei thanked him with a smile. Oh my, this man is so handsome and gentle, and he can even cook. What kind of ferryman have I met? Being with Gu Xingchen, Lin Kuei felt very comfortable, and also happy to be spoiled. Seeing Lin Kuei's performance, Su Yuha was gratified and couldn't help but praise her nephew. If they could continue to develop like this, she guessed that getting married would not be far off. Gu Xingchen wanted to serve Su Yuha's rice, but she refused. She wasn't a new mother, and she didn't need to sit in confinement, so she wasn't that precious, and she could do it herself. Lin Kuei said that she was recovering well and could eat on her own. But Gu Xingchen insisted on feeding her, because he was worried. What if she pulled on her wound when she used the chopsticks? Lin Kuei could only do as he said and continued to accept Gu Xingchen's feeding, blushing. How is it? Does it taste right? Is it salty? Lin Kuei took a taste and shook her little head. No, it's not salty, it's just right, it's her favorite flavor. It's so delicious, just the right amount of salt. Lin Kuei's jaw almost dropped from the deliciousness. Gu Xingchen noticed that Lin Kuei had beautiful eyes, as if they contained a sea of stars, and that there was light in her eyes when she smiled. Xiaochen, it's okay, the food you cook now is even better than what your auntie used to make. Kuei likes it, so you should cook more for her in the future. You need to eat well during your confinement, so buy good food and don't worry about the money. Su Yuha took a bite and her eyes narrowed. Gu Xingchen's current cooking skills are beyond his imagination. This skill is almost comparable to that of a hotel chef. Su Yua's face flushed, and she felt ashamed that she had just said with conviction that her nephew's cooking was not as good as her own. Now, it's a slap in the face. Except that this slap in the face made her happy. Gu Xingchen heard the praise from the two and felt relieved. This was the first time she had used her culinary talent to cook, and she had no idea if they liked it or not. But it seems that the results are surprisingly good. Just as the few people were eating with relish, the sound of the babies crying came from the room. Chapter 26. Don't sleep on the floor, the bed is big enough. In the room, the two little babies were awakened by the fragrance. The first thing they did when they woke up was cry, wriggling their tiny bodies instinctively looking for their mother. The two novice parents returned to the room and saw the crying babies. The eldest child, little Candy, was crying the loudest. Gu Xingchen asked Lin Kowei to lean back on the bed and place the little one in her arms to feed her. Lin Kowei gently patted her daughter's bottom. "Oh, my baby is hungry, isn't she? Mommy will give you some milk." The little one was like a little piglet. As soon as she found her food, she began to gulp it down. It was as if she was late for dinner and someone was trying to grab her food. After feeding the baby, Gu Xingchen took Lin Kowei around the room to familiarize her with it. It was time for the night. Su Yua spoke next to the baby's crib. "I'm going to sleep first, you guys sleep with the baby tonight, and if Chen needs anything at night, just call me." After saying that, she went back to the guest room to sleep. In this way, the room was left with just the four of them. The two babies had already fallen asleep. That left the two adults, face to face. What was meant to be, finally came. Gu Xingchen pointed at the floor and said, "I'll sleep on the floor tonight, you sleep on the bed." The two of them had never intersected before, and it was just a matter of chance that they had a relationship and had a baby. Gu Xingchen never thought that Lin Kowei would suddenly fall in love with him. Unlike in the hospital, this situation was quite embarrassing. Sleeping on the floor, on such a hard floor, would definitely be uncomfortable. And in the future, they would have to take care of the baby, and it wouldn't be good if Su Yua saw them. Lin Kowei pointed at the big bed and said, with her eyes averted, "Don't sleep on the floor. You can sleep on the bed too. The room has a big bed, so we can each sleep on one side." Gu Xingchen didn't expect Lin Kowei to take the initiative to let him sleep on the bed. It felt like a good start. "Okay, don't worry. I sleep very quietly. When the babies are older, I'll go to sleep in the other room." Of course. If the two of them get married in the future, he won't go to sleep in the other room when the children are older. Lin Kowei is such a beautiful girl, and she has given birth to two babies of her own. It is her blessing to have met her. If things go well, their lives will definitely be very happy. Lin Kowei said, "Okay, let's talk about the future later. For now, you can sleep on the bed for now." Gu Xingchen finished bathing and changed into a simple pair of pajamas. She sat next to the crib and gently fanned the babies. The weather in Yangcheng is still very hot at night. The baby and the mother to be have a lot of heat, so Su Yua advises them to keep the air conditioning off as much as possible. And since the babies have tender bones, what if they catch a cold from the air conditioning? Gu Xingchen is fanning the babies to keep them cool. Gu Xingchen notices that little Sticky Rice seems to be sleeping more quietly than her sister, while little Candy next to her moves around a little from time to time. Time passes slowly, and Gu Xingchen lowers the mosquito net over the babies' cribs before returning to bed to sleep. She had to go to bed early at night to get some rest, because she might have to get up in the middle of the night to change the babies' diapers. Lin Kowei pretended to sleep with her eyes closed, but she couldn't sleep tonight. She was not used to lying next to someone of the opposite sex. However, soon afterwards, she heard even breathing next to her. Lin Kowei let out a quiet sigh. "Well, whatever, let's just take things as they come. Even if it's not for the babies, Gu Xingchen is a pretty nice person." At a little after 1 a.m., Gu Xingchen was awakened by a noise. She went over to the crib and saw the two little ones crying. Gu Xingchen turned her head and saw Lin Kowei still sleeping soundly. She decided to prepare formula for the babies herself. Babies don't always need to be breastfed, they can also drink formula occasionally. Now, after feeding the babies, she had to burp them after they had eaten. Unless they are over 3 months old, they will need burping. Little Candy eats quickly and she cannot tell the difference between breast milk and formula. The baby dried rice person is full quickly. Gu Xingchen then burps the baby. After about 7 or 8 minutes, the little one finally burps. Little glutinous rice was slow to drink milk, not at all like her sister dry rice. She ate slowly, stopping and starting. It took a long time to burp her, more than 30 minutes before she burped. After all was done and tidied away, it was already past 2 o'clock. The next day. At 7:30 in the morning, Lin Kuei and Su Yua had finished preparing breakfast and came in just in time to see Lin Kuei preparing to bend down to hold the baby and feed her. She quickly went up to help, saying, "Let me do it, you go lie down on the bed." Then she placed the baby in Lin Kuei's arms. Seeing that Gu Xingchen was sleeping so soundly, she knew that he had taken good care of the babies last night. Lin Kuei also knew that Gu Xingchen had worked hard last night. She wanted to let him sleep a little longer, so she didn't wake him up while she was feeding the babies. Su Yua checked De Bao's diaper to see if he had pooped or peed. After feeding the babies, Lin Kuei suddenly felt a great sense of relief in her chest. "Kuei, I'll take the babies for a while, go wash your hands and eat. I've made breakfast for you and Xiachen." "Okay, thanks Auntie." In the morning, she had cooked some vegetable congee that was cooling and nourishing, and had added some minced meat that had been blanched in boiling water, which made it even more fragrant and nutritious. Su Yua glanced at her sleeping nephew, who had said yesterday that he could take care of the adults and children. Now she couldn't help but worry about how she could go back to her job like this. Coincidentally, Gu Xingchen opened his eyes and woke up at this moment. He thought it was just after 6 o'clock, but he couldn't believe it was already 7:30. Oh my, time really flies. It's true that taking care of 2 babies is not easy. But now that he has just become a father, he believes he will gradually get used to it in the future. He has confidence in himself. Su Yua gave him a look, and he is already the father of 2 children, so he should be more careful in the future. Gu Xingchen embarrassedly scratched his head. He did wake up late today. Su Yua hugged little Candy and teased her while saying, "Wait a minute, I'll go back soon. If I have time, I'll bring you some local chickens and ducks from home to help Kuei regain her strength." Gu Xingchen actually didn't want his younger sister-in-law to go back. But there was nothing he could do about it, this was life. After breakfast, Su Yua had to go back. Before leaving, he once again reminded Gu Xingchen, "You and Kuei are still young, and this is your first time being parents. You must always pay attention to the babies and take good care of them, so that nothing goes wrong." Gu Xingchen nodded, "Auntie, don't worry, I will take good care of them." Su Yua sighed, "I really wish I could stay with the babies all the time. If my uncle's health was better, I wouldn't have to go back so soon. I'll bring you free-range chicken when I have time." Before the morning sun got too strong, Su Yua packed her things and went home. Gu Xingchen drove her to the bus station. As she watched Su Yua's back as she left, Lin Kuei's nose grew sour. After spending 7 days together and feeling Su Yua's meticulous care, Lin Kuei had developed deep feelings for her. Now that she was suddenly going back, Lin Kuei didn't want to let her go. Chapter 27, Blow drying her hair for her baby. Lin Kuei was feeling down. Gu Xingchen noticed and comforted her, saying that her sister-in-law would still come to visit her and the babies after a while. She would also bring some free-range chicken and duck from home to make her some soup. Hearing that her sister-in-law would be coming again in the future, Lin Kuei's smile blossomed like a flower, her eyebrows and eyes curved like a crescent moon, and she looked absolutely beautiful. Gu Xingchen felt that Lin Kuei was like a child, very easy to please and especially cute. A new mother's body temperature is naturally high. After dinner. After exercising in her room, Lin Kuei was sweating all over, and with her long hair, it was even more troublesome to breastfeed the babies. She hadn't washed her hair or bathed for several days, and now that she was sweating, her body felt uncomfortable. Her itchy scalp was affecting her mood even more. In the past, during the traditional confinement period, the concept of not bathing or washing one's hair was abandoned. Nowadays, times are different. Doctors encourage new mothers to clean up as soon as possible. After giving birth, new mothers have high body temperatures and tend to sweat easily. This, combined with the continuous discharge of lochia and breast milk secretion, means that their bodies are dirtier than average. It is also easier for pathogens to invade. Therefore, it is very important to pay attention to personal hygiene after giving birth. Especially in hot weather, new mothers should keep their bodies clean and fresh. The doctor told Gu Xingchen that generally, for women who have given birth vaginally, they can take a bath 2 to 3 days after giving birth. For women who have given birth by cesarean section, they can take a bath and wash their hair 5 to 7 days after giving birth. However, it should be noted that showers should be used for bathing. You cannot take a bath. Because the birth canal is still dilated and the lochia has not yet cleared up, taking a bath carries the risk of pelvic infection. New mothers should bathe in the correct way. Gu Xingchen used to think that you could not bathe or wash your hair during the postpartum period. After listening to the doctor, he suggested, Kuei, why don't you go take a bath and wash your hair at the same time, according to what Dr. Pei said. Seeing Lin Kuei in such discomfort, Gu Xingchen couldn't help but say. He had also Googled it and found that it was indeed possible to wash her hair, just not every day. It was a hot day, and with all the sweating, Lin Kuei's hair was so oily that it could be used for stir-frying. Her scalp was itchy, and the more she scratched it, the more it itched, but in order to maintain her image in front of Gu Xingchen and Su Yue, Lin Kuei had been trying hard to restrain herself. Now she heard that Gu Xingchen was letting her take a shower and wash her hair. Lin Kuei happily smiled. Yes. According to the doctor, I can take a bath now. Since it's a shower, Gu Xingchen goes into the bathroom in advance to adjust the water temperature for Lin Kuei. Then he does a good job of preventing slippage. I'll set the water temperature to 40 degrees for you. Okay. Lin Kuei's body has recovered well, and she no longer walks like a penguin. She is used to taking a bath before washing her hair. 10 minutes later, Lin Kuei came out of the bathroom wearing pajamas. Seeing Gu Xingchen standing not far away, she smiled awkwardly at him. Gu Xingchen came over to wash her hair. Wow, you really have a lot of hair, I'm sure a lot of people envy you. Lin Kuei really has a lot of hair, a handful of it, which is really the envy of other girls. It's just that long hair has now become a burden for her. Having too much long hair makes it inconvenient to breastfeed her babies. Lin Kuei asked, Gu Xingchen, you know how to cut hair? I want to cut my hair short so that it's easier to take care of the baby. Lin Kuei's best friend has short hair, and she thinks it looks really good. Now that she has a baby, she also wants to change her hairstyle. Gu Xingchen shook her head, I don't know how to cut hair. How about after you give birth, I'll take you to the hairdressers? That's fine. Lin Kuei nodded after thinking about it. After washing her hair, Gu Xingchen gently dried it with a towel. Wait a minute, I'll go get the hairdryer. Gu Xingchen was very satisfied with the layout of the rented house, and the bathroom was even equipped with a wet and dry partition. After washing your hair, you can blow dry it next to it. Gu Xingchen connected the power supply and came over to blow dry Lin Kuei's hair. A mother's hair must be dried, it can't be left wet, otherwise she'll get sick easily. The bathroom is lit by warm lighting. Lin Kuei stares blankly at the profile of Gu Xingchen. The atmosphere is warm and welcoming. Gu Xingchen seems to be gifted at everything she does. It feels so good to have her blow dry my hair. She also gives herself massages, with just the right amount of pressure. It's so relaxing. The hairdryer is also very well placed. It never stays in one place for too long, leaving her hair hot. After about half an hour, Lin Kuei's hair is finally dry. Let me put some hair oil on you. Lin Kuei brought the hair oil, which had a light floral scent that smelled very nice. After drying her hair, Lin Kuei let out a whoop of relief, saying, I'm finally relaxed. It was so hard to have my body washed every day when I was in the hospital. Gu Xingchen felt that she was sometimes quite childish, and very naive and unworldly. Then he said with concern, you just took a shower, so let me disinfect your wound with iodophor. Oh, I almost forgot, the wound needs to be disinfected. Well, I want to do it myself, is that okay? Sure, but take your time. After Lin Kuei had applied the iodophor, she lay quietly on the bed, thinking back over what had happened during this time, and the figure of Gu Xingchen kept popping up in her mind. However, do you think she can just rest like that? No. At this time, the babies woke up. One was hungry, and the other would cry if it was hungry too. What if the two babies cry at the same time? As increasingly skilled new parents, they are getting more and more adept at breastfeeding their babies. Now, Lin Kuei will sit on the bed, bring the two babies over, and let the two babies eat together, with Gu Xingchen assisting. Gu Xingchen looks at them tenderly while fanning the three of them. Lin Kuei is used to Gu Xingchen's presence during breastfeeding and no longer acts pretentiously as she used to. Otherwise, she couldn't feed two babies at the same time on her own, and she couldn't keep feeding one and leaving the other hungry every time. Since there was a way to feed two babies at the same time, she wouldn't be fussy. After Xiaomili finished eating, he spit out his ration and turned his head away to show that he didn't want to eat anymore. That milk, oh, it was so plentiful. It dribbled down his chin, and the little guy was so pitiful, his ration face was directly washed, smelling of milk. Gu Xingchen quickly picked up the little one and wiped him clean with a wet paper towel. Then she burped him. It didn't take long for the little one to burp and belch and be full. Lin Kuei burped her. The little one may have eaten too much, and Lin Kuei just burped her a little and she vomited a mouthful of milk. The burping had to continue. Gu Xingchen held little Nuomi in her arms and continued to pat her for nearly half an hour before the little one let out a small belch. After tidying up the babies, Gu Xingchen put on little socks for them and took the opportunity to smell their little feet. The little toes were so fragrant that Gu Xingchen couldn't bear to let go. The elderly say that cold starts from the feet, so even though it's not cold now, the baby should be protected and given little socks to wear. Chapter 28, Bestie, are you crazy? You have a baby? A new day dawned. Lin Kuei's health was improving, so Gu Xingchen planned to buy some pig's liver and pig's blood to help her intestines recover. In fact, Lin Kuei didn't like to eat pig's liver and pig's blood before. But after trying Gu Xingchen's cooking, she found that she could accept it. While Gu Xingchen was playing with the babies in the living room. At that moment, Lin Kuei's best friend Li Mei called via WeChat. Oh my goodness, this time Miss Lin finally answered my call. Plum, I'm so happy. Where have you been all this time? I've been worried sick, no messages, no calls. You stopped video calling me a few months ago, Lin Kuei, you're so strange. Lin Kuei lay on the bed, looking at Gu Xingchen, who was happily entertaining the babies outside the living room, and gave a small smile. Oh, is it inconvenient to reply recently? Thanks for your concern, sister. Ha? Is it inconvenient to reply, and are there people more important than me? Yes, because I've been with my baby and the baby's father recently, that's why it's inconvenient. The baby has been born, and Lin Kuei plans to hide it from Li Mei. That's why she said that on purpose this time, just to see her best friend's reaction. Li Mei screamed, baby, and the baby's father? Are you crazy? You've been watching too many dramas and got carried away. No, I gave birth to a baby of my own, and I have a child's father too. It's real. What? You really have a baby? Yes, otherwise why do you think I haven't been replying to your messages? I've been in the hospital giving birth to my baby this whole time. Ha, you don't even have a boyfriend, and you're already having a baby. You think I'm stupid? No picture, no truth. Linka smiles and replies, you just wait. She snaps a photo of Gu Xingchen holding her baby outside the living room. She sends it to her best friend the next second. Immediately afterwards, Li Mei screams on the other end of the line. Ah, Lin Kuei, you have to tell me this isn't true. Are you crazy? What's going on? Explain yourself right now. Lin Kuei was overjoyed to have given birth to two adorable babies. Her best friend Li Mei has grown up with her since childhood, and she wants to share this happy news with her. Of course. Why didn't she say anything during pregnancy? There were a lot of issues involved, and Lin Kuei had kept it a secret until now just to be on the safe side. After the babies were born, she felt completely relaxed. She told Li Mei about Gu Xingchen and the whole process of getting pregnant and giving birth at a leisurely pace. After listening, Li Mei was furious. You silly woman, you went out for a trip and got pregnant by a man. And you even gave birth to the baby. Lin Kuei, you're amazing, I don't know what to say to you. Do your parents know about the baby? I guess not yet. I'll see how they fix you later. With the baby, she wasn't afraid of her parents. Lin Kuei looked indifferent. My child is already born, what can they do to me? Kick me out of the house? I haven't returned home since the last time, even if they disown me as a daughter, so what? Li Mei took a deep breath to force herself to calm down. What about the baby's father, is he with you now, with the baby, are you married? Speaking of marriage. Lin Kuei hesitated for a moment and said, for the baby's sake, we should get married, Gu Xingchen has no objections, now waiting for my decision. Li Mei let out a long sigh of relief. Sisters, you have to be careful about marriage. What if you two get married but don't get along, and you get divorced? And if the other person gets half of your assets? But you're so pretty, and your family is rich, as long as he's a normal guy, he won't divorce you. The thing is, he might take advantage of your family and your money. Lin Kuei stood by Gu Xingchen. Gu Xingchen is not like that, and he doesn't even know who I am. He definitely won't care about my family's wealth. He's a special person. Ha, he's a special person. Li Mei was fake crying on the other end of the phone, probably because she was mad at her best friend. Lin Kuei, send me your address right now, I'll buy a plane ticket and fly over to see you. I want you to tell me about the baby and that man face to face, I want to meet him in person. Lin Kuei thought about it, and decided that it was a good thing her best friend was coming over. It's a good opportunity to show her babies. And Gu Xingchen is so handsome and talented, how could Li Mei not like him? Lin Kuei has full confidence in Gu Xingchen. By the way, what does that man do for a living? He's a senior like me, but usually works part-time driving a DD car. He even has his own car. Li Mei can't wait to fly over there and hammer her over the head to see what it's really like inside. Gosh, you've come a long way, Dad, to be a DD driver. And you have a car. Does having a car make you proud? You don't look down on those uncles and aunts who introduce you to people with tens of millions of assets, but you actually had a baby with someone who drives a DD. Li Mei couldn't help but call this operation by her best friend a good guy. Lin Kuei couldn't help but defend Gu Xingchen. Gu Xingchen is a very nice person and takes care of people. Besides, what's wrong with driving a DD? Is there anything wrong with earning a living with your own hands? Li Mei didn't bother arguing with her. Send me the address, I'll go over there and see what's going on. And, is your baby a boy or a girl? Since we're meeting for the first time, I, as the godmother, need to prepare a gift. After all, we've been best friends since childhood. Lin Kuei's baby, no matter who the father is, she will be the child's godmother. Lin Kuei smiled meaningfully, keeping it a secret for now, you'll know when you get there. You need to prepare a gift for a baby, whether it's a boy or a girl, just in case my baby likes both. After hanging up the phone, Li Mei hurriedly booked a flight to Yangchang. Here, after putting down her phone, Lin Kuei reached out and supported her stomach as she slowly walked out of the room. Gu Xingchen, my best friend is going to come over later to see the babies, and, well, she wants to meet you too. Gu Xingchen let out a sound. Lin Kuei's best friend is coming? Seeing the babies is also seeing myself. He suddenly felt the pressure. Okay, when is she arriving? I'll go buy some groceries. Lin Kuei estimated and smiled, probably more than 2 hours. After calculating the time, Gu Xingchen went out to buy groceries after the baby fell asleep. Time flew, and before she knew it, Li Mei had already disembarked from the plane and found the house number according to the location. Ding dong ding dong. No one? Did she fall asleep? Continue to ring the doorbell. Ding dong, ding dong. Li Mei thought about how she had traveled thousands of miles, carrying all this stuff in her hands, and if her best friend locked her out of the house. She wondered how she would hammer her best friend's head in. Just then. Click. The door opened. Lin Kuei, yawning in her pajamas, stood in the doorway. Ah, Mei, you're here. Li Mei gritted her teeth. Yes, your father is here. Where is your man? Chapter 29. Come, let me show you my 2 treasures. On the way here. Li Mei had worried more than once about how thin Lin Kuei had become after giving birth. Had her figure gone out of shape? Now that she saw her best friend, who was rosy-cheeked and plump and round, Li Mei felt that she had worried for nothing. It was obvious that Lin Kuei seemed to be leading a good life, at least she was getting enough nutrition. Seeing her best friend carrying a large load of things, Lin Kuei gave a small smile and said, "My dear friend, please come in." Li Mei walked in and said with a forced smile, "Wow, you've maintained your figure very well, and you've become even more plump." I was worried for nothing. Lin Kuei could hear the sarcasm in her voice and ignored her. Li Mei. It's boring to do all the talking. When she arrived in the living room, Li Mei looked around and took a look at her best friend's house. The house was very new, very clean, and full of warmth. Of course Li Mei knew that her best friend hadn't cleaned it. She was joking, how could Miss Lin, who had been spoiled since childhood and had never touched anything dirty, have cleaned it up so well? Li Mei found a place to put the baby's things down. It was nicely decorated, and although the decoration was average, it was still quite warm. She just didn't know what the person looked like. The photo Lin Kuei had sent her before only showed Gu Xingchen's profile holding the baby. The exact appearance of the person was not captured, so Li Mei was curious about what the other person looked like. Lin Kuei quickly took out her phone and showed Li Mei the usual photos she took secretly of Gu Xingchen, like she was showing off her treasures. What do you think, is he handsome? Li Mei couldn't help but nod. He is quite handsome. If the original camera can make him look this handsome, he should be even more handsome in person. Lin Kuei nodded eagerly. Yes, he is super handsome in person. I took these photos secretly. You can see that he can tidy up his room, and he has been taking care of me during this time. He is a very nice person. Li Mei sat on the sofa, arms folded, and watched her grunt. Click. At this time, the door opened. Lin Kuei walked to the door and said, "You're back. Wow, there's so much stuff, let me help you carry some." Gu Xingchen shook his head and smiled, "You rest, I can do it myself." Just as he was about to ask Lin Kuei if his girlfriend had arrived, he turned around and saw a beautiful woman with short hair standing in the living room looking at him. The woman had short maroon hair, which she had pulled up and tied behind her ears, revealing ears with distinct ear lobes. Her skin was fair, and from her ears to her neck, it was very eye-catching. Gu Xingchen was stunned. Could this be Lin Kuei's best friend? Her appearance was only half a step behind hers. She would be the school flower and goddess-level existence in any school. Just as Gu Xingchen looked at her, the other party was also looking at him. Li Mei finally met the man who made her best friend pregnant and have a baby. She saw a man in casual clothes walk in from the door. He exuded an unfathomable charm. Li Mei has seen the world and met many handsome men, but none of them are as good-looking as him, probably about 1.8 meters tall. He gives off an elegant air and a feeling of being bathed in spring breeze. The woman seems to sense Gu Xingchen's gaze. She stands up and walks towards him. After all, she is the child's mother's best friend, and Gu Xingchen attaches great importance to her, his gaze continuing to fall on her. She is tall and slender, with a small waist. She was wearing a classic Chanel suit, with light makeup and a sweet, lovely appearance. Gu Xingchen was about to greet her. But Li Mei spoke first. "Are you the pig that knocked up Kuei?" Her words were full of hostility. Gu Xingchen's heart tightened. The other party seemed to be up to no good. However, Li Mei regretted her words as soon as they came out. As she looked closer, the object of her best friend's affection seemed to look more and more handsome. If there is such a handsome pig, I would be happy to marry him. Maybe, probably, she would be willing to. I said that Lin Kuei, that damned woman, would never give birth to someone else's child. Now that she has seen Gu Xingchen in person, she understands. Bah, Lin Kuei is a dog in the face. She must be attracted to his good looks. He has just returned from the market, so it is possible that, just as her best friend said, he can take care of people and cook. In fact, to be honest, Li Mei had a pretty good first impression of Gu Xingchen. Lin Kuei sensed the tense atmosphere and hurried over to introduce them. "This is Gu Xingchen, my best friend Li Mei." Even now that Lin Kuei has figured it out, she will marry Gu Xingchen in the future. But when it comes to addressing each other, she is now used to calling each other by their first names. Gu Xingchen greeted her with a warm smile, "Hello." Li Mei raised an eyebrow and smiled back, "Hello, my name is Li Mei." The other person has flown in from another city, so she must be hungry. Gu Xingchen quickly heads into the kitchen with the ingredients. "Kuei, I'll go to the kitchen and get busy, you guys continue chatting." You've worked hard." After Gu Xingchen leaves, Li Mei looks at her best friend with strange eyes and imitates her, "You've worked hard, go ahead." "Lin Kuei, you actually have such a gentle side, but you've never said that to me." Lin Kuei giggled. The two of them had grown up together, so why be so polite? Li Mei noticed that the balcony was full of baby clothes. There were blue ones and pink ones. She had just bought clothes in those two colors, but she still didn't know whether her best friend had given birth to a boy or a girl. Li Mei, full of curiosity, asked if she had given birth to a little boy or a little girl. Lin Kuei gave her a mysterious smile and waved her over. "Come, I'll show you my two treasures." Two treasures? When they went to the bedroom and saw the two sleeping babies in the cot, Li Mei's eyes widened. Holy shit! 2 babies, twins? She turned her head and looked at Lin Kuei incredulously. "Sister, you gave birth to twins?" Lin Kuei nodded with a smile. "Yes, they're dragon and phoenix twins. So now you have godchildren." Li Mei blurted out in shock, "You're amazing, Kuei, you really can give birth." Lin Kuei gave her a look. Li Mei hurriedly said, "Compliments, I'm praising you, Kuei, you're amazing, you had twins." She never imagined that Lin Kuei had secretly given birth to 2 adorable twin babies. Looking at her best friend's back, Li Mei couldn't help but feel distressed. She must have suffered a lot from conceiving the babies to giving birth to them. It was hard enough to give birth to one, let alone twins. The pain is doubled, isn't it? Li Mei took a deep breath, helplessly smiled bitterly, "But wait, you really quietly gave birth to 2 babies, stunning everyone." Lin Kuwei gave a small smile, no matter how much suffering it was worth it for the sake of the babies. At this time, the sound of the babies grunting suddenly came from the crib. It turned out that the babies had woken up. Lin Kuwei went over to check their diapers and felt a smell slowly seeping out. Chapter 30, My best friend is really a dog. Lin Kuwei turned her head and said with interest to Li Mei, who was looking curiously. Sister, take a deep breath and smell it, and see if you notice any difference. Li Mei didn't understand, so she did as she said, and said doubtfully that there was a strange smell. Lin Kuwei gave a little smile. Of course it's strange, because the baby has pooped. After pooping, the baby squirmed uncomfortably. The room has a countertop specially designed by Gu Xingqian for changing diapers, and the height can be adjusted at any time, making it very convenient to use. Gu Xingqian is cooking in the kitchen. Lin Kuwei plans to change the babies herself and asks Li Mei to help. Li Mei, there is a small basin in the bathroom, can you bring me some warm water? And also bring the 2 small square towels from the hook. Li Mei exclaims in agreement and walks into the bathroom. There were diapers, baby powder, wet wipes and other things that the babies needed in the room, and Gu Xingqian had prepared everything. Lin Kuwei gently picked up the little glutinous rice and put it on the countertop, opening the little ears of the diaper. Li Mei, who was carrying the basin of warm water, froze when she saw this scene when she came out of the bathroom. She understood why her best friend had told her to take a deep breath just now. Oh my god, the baby pooped. Lin Kuwei actually told her to take a deep breath and smell it. This best friend is really something. Lin Kuwei was concentrating on the smelly diapers, examining the situation. The doctor had told them to check every time the baby pooped to see if it was normal. Was there a habit of diarrhea? Lin Kuwei habitually handed the changed diaper to the side. She forgot that it was her best friend Li Mei who was helping her, not Gu Xingqian. Li Mei screamed, "What are you doing? Can't you throw it away yourself?" Oh, I forgot. I thought you were Gu Xingqian. He usually disposes of them. Where's the trash can? Li Mei pinched her nose and looked all over for a trash can. Lin Kuwei couldn't help but laugh at the way she looked. It's right next to you, isn't it? Li Mei stopped spinning around and looked. Disposing of the diaper, Li Mei said angrily, Lin Kuwei, you definitely did it on purpose. You even told me to smell it. Smell what? Lin Kuwei looked innocent. Li Mei was so angry, but she couldn't do anything about this woman. Lin Kuwei skillfully cleaned up Xiao Bao's bottom and then changed him into a new diaper. As soon as she finished changing Xiao Bao, her eldest son's face also puffed up. Lin Kuwei knew that her daughter had also pooped. She turned to Li Mei and said, "Come and help, De Bao has pooped too." What? Li Mei almost thought she had heard it wrong. She had flown 1,000 miles to find her best friend, and the first thing she did when she saw her was to clean up her child's stink? No, the first thing she did seemed to be to suck up the smell of her baby's stink. She's got a clean freak on her hands. While she was still hesitating, Lin Kuwei let out a heavy sigh. My dear friend, I know you're a germaphobe, but I had a C-section and my body hasn't recovered yet, so I can't take care of 2 babies at the same time. Goodness, Li Mei's mouth twitched. Fine, fine, who am I to refuse when you're their godmother? Meeting you 2 little lovebirds has been hard on me, godmother, but I'll serve you. My little darlings, when you grow up, don't forget how good your godmother has been to you. Li Mei suppressed her discomfort with the stench and brought a basin of warm water from the bathroom to wash De Bao's bottom. Goodness, I guess I won't be this attentive to my own children in the future. Lin Kuwei, you're something. Damn you, Lin Kuwei, why did you give me the diapers again? Can't you just throw them away yourself? Oh no, look, my little darlings, your hateful mother is always bullying your godmother. After changing the little sweetie's diaper, Li Mei washed her hands and thought it was over. However, she was still too naive. She saw Lin Kuwei undressing as she held her baby on the bed cushion. Curious, she asked, "What are you doing?" To feed the babies. After changing the babies' diapers, it's time to solve their problem of hunger. So babies are not so easy to take care of, and require a lot of energy from their parents. Lin Kuwei held her baby and laid him down so he could eat on one side. Then she said to Li Mei, "Bring over your eldest baby so we can feed them together." You hold her for me. Li Mei was surprised. Can you feed 2 babies at the same time? Lin Kuwei gave her a look of disbelief. She was at a loss as to how to hold the baby. She was flustered and brought the squirming little sweetie over. What do you think? Is that right? After the two babies were in position, Lin Kuwei began to feed them. Li Mei's pupils shrank, and she looked at the size of her best friend's breasts, with tears of envy welling up in the corners of her eyes. Mom, my godson and goddaughter won't have to worry about food in the future. Lin Kuwei glanced at her proudly. You still haven't improved at all. Li Mei was speechless. Actually, hers are also very big, right? It's just that they're not as big as Lin Kuwei's. Li Mei found the way the babies nursed was so cute, their tiny hands curled into fists and waved in the air. Looking at the babies, who looked like little angels, Li Mei's heart softened. Then she asked seriously, are you really going to get married with Gu Xingchen? Have you really thought it through? Lin Kuwei nodded affirmatively after a moment's thought. I guess so. The babies are so cute, and I want to give them a complete family. Besides, Gu Xingchen is a nice person, and I believe that if we stay together in the future, the babies will be happy, and he will be good to me too. Li Mei still couldn't help but voice her concerns. But you don't even know each other, you've only just met. Lin Kuwei knew what Li Mei meant. Only after spending a long time together and getting to know each other can you be sure whether the other person is right for you. You can only see a person's true character over time. They've only been together for less than 10 days, so what can you tell? Lin Kuwei knows this. But she also has her own thoughts. I know all that you're saying, but I trust my feelings. He's the one I'm looking for, and he'll be a good father in the future. I have a lot of suitors, and my parents have introduced me to all kinds of wonderful guys, but I've discovered that the type of person I like is just like Gu Xingchen. Or rather, I like him. Now I don't know if I like him or not, but I believe he will be a good father, and I will feel very comfortable with him. Li Mei's teeth are aching. I can see that you don't like his type, but his looks. Alas, I know you well. Once you've made up your mind, nothing can change it. I hope you've made the right choice. If he dares to bully you in the future, just let me know, and I'll teach him a lesson.